Hello, everybody, and thank you for dropping into this edition of Walking the Ropes. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Blake. We have an awesome show for you tonight. It's a big show, so we're going to be covering Impact from Tuesday, Wednesday's NXT and Dynamite, SmackDown from tonight, and then we'll be moving on to predicting Revolution on Sunday. As well as we'll be discussing our favorite bits from those ones, as well as the Twitter polls as well from those ones as well. Man, I'm stumbling my words. I apologize.
Holy shit, lot to do on this episode. Yeah, we missed out earlier this week due to unforeseen circumstances, but we are
Apologies.
we are here tonight. Yeah, we've got a lot to cover.
Yes.
As for video viewers, to mention real quick before I go into my normal spiel, we won't have any of the segment banners or anything tonight. With it being a mega show, we kind of had to swap out the layout, and things look a little different. It's the best we can do on having this many shows. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you're new to Walking the Ropes, or if you have been watching for a while now, I mean, we've been going for over 2 months,
Yeah.
you can find absolutely everything Walking the Ropes in our link tree. That includes social media, ways to watch, listen, and also ways to support us if you do wish to do so. But all that can be found in our link tree, which is in our bios and descriptions, basically everywhere we're located, including if you're watching live on Twitch. That is down below. But yeah, like you said, a lot of shows.
Yeah, and news-wise, I mean, I know when we quickly talked there, I don't have a lot.
Yeah,
So if you want to run down a few of yours, and then I'll talk about mine.
sure, yeah, and I mean, hopefully I don't take yours away from you. We
Oh,
don't
who?
always
If you
discuss
do, they're not that important.
we don't always discuss our news points prior to, very rarely actually. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I also forgot until about midday yesterday about news from the week. And I mean,
Yeah, me as
when
well.
when you got to cover Tuesday, Wednesday, which they're filled with shows, so the dirt sheet sites are just packed full, and we're talking
And
a
I mean, same
pay-per-view
time,
week.
sorry, I apologize.
No worry.
uh, Sometimes the dirt sheets are weird on slow days, and they'll just post news that isn't news.
Yep.
So,
Uh, and with this week being a big pay-per-view week, I always forget AEW does media calls. And so there's been 40 articles on each site revolving around one line from a media call. A
yeah.
whole goddamn article. Cody said this, and here is, an article. And literally the next sentence, which you could have put into one article, is a different article. Just one up. You won't
Well,
believe
it's a
what
slow
Cody
news day.
said. It's
Yeah.
fucking. So I've got some stuff. There was a ton of news from what we've seen. The first of which was some sad news to come out of this week. Jim Crockett Jr. Passed away. I mean, you're talking wrestling. We talk current day wrestling, but you got to go back to, what kind of
Pioneers.
what started it.
Yeah.
What started the the revolution that we see today of pro wrestling, if you want to call it that. I mean, I think it's fitting with Revolution being
Yeah.
this
No, it's very
Sunday.
fitting.
But Jim Crockett Jr., yeah, very sad news. Their absolute legend.
Very unfortunate, and condolences to his family and any friends
Yes,
and
very
anyone that was close to him.
well, very, very many of the old stars that are still around and that worked for Jim Crockett Jr. at some point. Like Ric Flair, from what I was reading, was really good friends with him still. Like, you got to figure this guy gave a lot of these guys their start, gave them their break almost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
very sad news coming out of the world of wrestling there.
Mhm.
If we will talk about it on when we get to Dynamite, but on Dynamite, Max Caster had a match, and you may have noticed Anthony Bowens was not at ringside. I actually writing my notes for the match. I was writing through, and I'm like, oh, it's this match. So I typed Max Caster with Anthony Bowens, just
Yep.
expecting it. Then I'm sitting there going, okay.
See,
So,
when they showed the graphic, they specifically didn't have Bowens in the graphic, and they did
which
have the manager for the other person. So I didn't write it down and then quickly Googled it. I can't remember what his injury is, but he is
it is
current.
some kind of a knee injury, is what I have, and I saw earlier today. Um, if I read the article correctly, because I've been quite busy, and so the articles were skimmed a little bit too. It is
Mhm.
not a significant injury. He will not be missing a significant amount of time, so that's
Well,
very good.
that's good, and it seems like Max is enjoying a slight push for the, I guess you could say inconvenience that Acclaimed was getting for their
Yeah,
push there, and now they're like, okay, well, it's unfortunate you're not going to be able to do anything here, so here's a
yeah.
spot.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Tony Khan. What I find really interesting about this team, the Acclaimed, when they first popped up on Dynamite and that, I was like, have these guys, like, they work really well together. The gimmick seems well done out. I'm like, these guys had to have worked together on the indies or something. And then you find
Right.
out Tony Khan, like the thing is, we haven't really seen it from AEW. Like WWE, you've seen the formations of teams and stuff like that. Where
Right.
AEW, it's been, if it's a tag team, they signed them as a tag team from the indies. That's
Yep.
all their content, right? Like, we haven't seen, not to say it in a bad way, like an original character, because we've never known like Darby Allin and stuff like that, but these are
Well,
still
and
guys off the indies.
the librarian is a completely unique character.
That's one of those I guess asterisks you could say, but it's not a it wasn't a crazy out there gimmick, I guess, in a
No.
sense. But the fact that this is the first actual team we've seen from initial knowledge of it being a Tony Khan creation, and seeing it actually being like, they're both really decent athletes in the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, the raps are getting better. I think the first Dynamite they were on, I kind of wanted to stick a knife in my ear and twist it.
Well, because the first few ones, they just kept saying they were the Cena boys. And I was like, but
Yeah.
like, why?
Yeah. But I mean, the team in the past few weeks, um I've liked what they've done on Dynamite and that. So yeah,
Yeah.
when I saw Anthony Bowens was going to be out, I think it was for a few weeks at least. It was like, damn. I mean, especially once again, you're just introducing these guys. These guys have never been on this market before. Um Trying to get them
Yeah.
over. And I mean, they're young guys too, right? Wanting that shot.
Well, yeah, and it also takes a blow to your ego as well. Being a young guy, you think you're an untouchable, then all of a sudden you need to rehab.
Yeah, like,
Like,
I don't actually know the age of Anthony Bowens, but yeah, a lot of, 22, 23-year-old guys in the business thinking, I'm only 23, I'm athletic, I can do this random move, and you blow your knee out. How old is he? He's in his 30s?
30?
Yeah.
I thought he was way younger.
Yeah, I figured so Max Caster, what's Max Caster like?
That's exactly where I'm heading.
Yes.
Uh,
And it'll possibly be quite a long podcast, by the way, if you haven't been able to tell from what we're covering. Just a quick note for anybody thinking this is going to be like an hour.
so it seems like Max Caster's doesn't have a like I go into his pro wrestling fandom and it just has his debut and his birthplace with no birth date.
Ooh. Um, yeah.
He's like completely unknown.
Anthony
He doesn't have a
Bowens.
wiki.
Yeah, Bowens has. Okay.
Max Caster Wikipedia. I apologize for if anybody doesn't enjoy
Wow.
this.
Yeah, he.
I didn't realize that he's
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, this is fantastic content. I have no clue how old he is. I mean, I'm just intrigued because
Yeah.
talking about younger teams and that, and then okay, I don't know. I don't know.
He wrestled for Create a Pro Wrestling
Okay.
and was the Cap champion 2 times and the Cap Tag Team champion 1 time with Bryce Donovan. So I apologize for not knowing your name, but I'm going to credit you for some of your accolades elsewhere.
Yeah. But anyways, moving on from that point cuz once again we have a lot to get through.
Absolutely.
Um Sean Dean, if you've been watching AEW Dark or even being the Elite, I know at the very least,
The captain.
the captain, Sean Dean. I don't think we're allowed to do that.
I
I
don't
think there's like
care.
a rule of like we shouldn't do that, but
All right, but I'm doing it out of respect, and it's kind of to the gimmick, similar to the way like Cena did it.
yes, I do. I agree
Like
there. I'm just saying. I'm pretty
that's
sure
not.
there's a rule that like
Yeah, but as a wrestling thing, if it's specific to a gimmick, I think we're okay in doing it as long as we're not
sure.
trying to mimic an actual military.
That's fair. But yeah, Captain Sean Dean has officially been signed to AEW. Really awesome.
Congratulations.
His stuff on Dark, like I don't watch a lot of Dark, but there's a few people that I've started to follow, and he's good, man.
Hmm.
He's really good. So and I mean I
Yeah,
like
he's
his
been doing
spots on
fantastic.
BTE.
I think he had a shot at the BTE championship, so I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
he's a big contender, man. Big
But
contender.
yeah, so that was really awesome. I love when I see these indie guys getting signed to, this big wrestling promotion. Like that's really cool to
Yeah.
see now. So, especially with the pandemic and that.
Oh, absolutely.
And then talking about knee injuries, another knee injury which is a bigger blow to especially AEW, Serena Deeb
Oh, I saw
is
this. Yeah.
is now out with a knee injury. I think I saw this evening. Once again, been busy skimming articles. I
She
think
had a
she was.
scope done.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was a procedure of some kind done. I didn't see what.
I remember it was reading that she had a scope done. So
Yeah, so I mean, knee injury there, which really sucks. I mean, Serena Deeb has been
yes.
doing some amazing stuff. One of the best women's wrestling matches of the year against Riho, in my opinion, back a few weeks ago. Like,
Yeah.
amazing stuff. And then as well being the NWA women's champ, like that blows.
Now that was my next question. If she was still the champion, now what do they do?
Especially with the announcement, I didn't see when, but Power is coming back. Their NWA's weekly show. So like
But on
that
on TV, not on YouTube.
um they got a deal with some TV thing. But I know they're going through I think it's Fight TV.
Okay.
I think you can actually get the membership to watch Power every week or something. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it, but I
All right.
remember
Yeah.
seeing
I
something
just
about
yeah.
NWA teams with Fight TV or something.
Well, that's cool.
Um, but like that just really blows, especially with that coming back. Even with if it be like a month or two away or something. Like
Yes, because any kind of knee injury where you need to have a scope done, you're likely looking at least 2 to 3 months rehab,
yeah,
from what I can think of.
yeah.
So,
So that kind of sucks.
best of luck in your rehab.
Yes. Um, you still have a point that I haven't mentioned by chance?
Actually, you haven't hit any of mine if you want to keep going.
Really? Okay. Um, the next three are all reported things. Once again, we cover the dirt sheets. We do not verify any news,
Yep.
unless it has previously been verified. Um, so, and these all have to do with WWE in some sense. Haven't covered a lot of that yet. Um, apparently they have put an age limit in place to developmental signings unless under certain special circumstances. They have put the age to 30 for development signings.
I get this, but at the same time, is that meaning like if, say, a really good indie guy comes up and he's in his 30s, are they not going to put him on the main roster right away then?
They won't even sign him. That's for the development deals. That's for
Like, so,
NXT.
right, but so that means like nobody can be signed to a main roster deal. Nobody can be AJ Styles.
Apparently not, unless it's a special circumstance. Because I mean,
Interesting.
just to note, like Taya Valkyrie, like she I think is like 36, 37. So like that would mean like
So is she gonna be the last like overager in the class then?
I guess
In
because the
in a
thing is,
class, basically, unless there's an extenuating circumstance or however you want to say it. However you want
yeah,
to say it.
yeah, because they're concerned their roster age. Like I didn't realize this until it was funny. My niece asked me. We were watching some old NXT stuff, and Finn Balor was on it. I was like, awesome. She goes, "How old is he?" And I'm like, 32, 33. He's fucking 40.
I was Yeah, I was gonna say 38 if not 40, but
I did not think he was that fucking old, man.
yeah.
And I mean, like, age
Well, you
is
gotta
a
think
thing in pro
when he was
wrestling.
running amok in Japan, yeah. But when he was running amok in Japan, Cena was running amok in WWE.
Oh my god, it
Like
was that long ago. Holy fuck. And I mean, how far into his career was he already? Like,
by that point, who knows?
dude. Well, that easily
Like
means
yeah,
because he easily started at between 16 and 18, I'd say. And putting him at 40,
easily.
like, that's a career, man. Holy shit. But like that's the thing. I'm like
Yeah,
I've always remembered like Finn's had a good career. He's done amazing things, but it never, like registers with me that like Bullet Club was like 8 years ago or more.
yeah.
Like um but
His
yeah,
Bullet
so
Club, yeah.
but them limiting that is crazy too because there is still some talent out on the indies that have been on the indies for 12, 13, 14 years that deserve these contracts.
Do you want to know who that excludes entirely?
Ooh,
Ethan
you're
Page,
oh my, are you 34?
31.
Oh, fuck, man. Yeah. Oh wow. How old is Eli Drake or LA Knight now in NXT?
L.A. Knight. Oh, I can't do that because I'm just gonna get. I'll just have to search Eli Drake because I'll get the LA Knights.
Yeah. That's why every time I've looked for him, I've looked for Eli Drake.
He's 38.
Yeah, like look at that.
Thinking of that, that name isn't gonna last long.
LA Knight.
Yeah. Now that I just had to do that, that
That's
name's
why
not gonna last long.
that's why I'm surprised it's still his name. I expected them by like the first week he was on NXT, like aside from that pre-show, I expected them to give him a totally new name, and he's still going by LA Knight, and I'm like,
I'm gonna hope he's gonna draw more than the Knights.
yeah, jeez, wow. Um,
I mean, obviously that's not the LA Knights, it's the Vegas Golden Knights and the LA Kings, but when you search LA and Knights, you're gonna get
it
stuff for
immediately is
hockey.
gonna go the hockey route, being like, did you mean this?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Just for any hockey fans that are thinking, we don't know
oh,
that.
I'm well aware. Well, I mean, I'm not even really like much of a hockey watcher. I watch the odd stuff. I mean, I'm wearing Habs shirt right now. I like my Habs, but like I even knew enough seeing that name right off the bat. I'm like that. No, No, that's not
It didn't
working
click in
one
my
bit.
head. Yeah. For me, I liked the name because it worked with his gimmick,
Yeah.
but then now doing that Google search, I was like, ooh,
Just
didn't
a
think that all the way through.
just a quick question for you, real quick, a technical thing. Since we're on, you're cutting out a little bit. Is your mic on the proper setting, my man? Just a
Yeah,
thought.
should be. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you're just kind of oddly cutting out at points, but like
Yeah,
your
I'll
feed
try to
is
stick
good.
closer to it.
Okay. Yeah, your feed is fine, but you keep cutting out at certain parts.
Yeah,
But
I've
you're
got it
you're
angled up to my mic, my mouth a bit better now too. So
oh, that seemed to work pretty good there. Okay. Get that right nice and close. Anyways. Uh
is
yes. um Another WWE thing. This one made me laugh. Like legitimately laugh when I saw it cuz I'm like, but it's like on
like
all the dirt
LOL.
sheets. Yeah, but I'm seeing it on the dirt sheets and I'm like, there's no way this is real. It's on so many of them. WWE has reportedly banned thigh slapping and is fining talent who are leg slapping on television, which I mean, the thing is, right now, there's no live events, right? So the only time they're on is television. They have been seeing fines for leg slaps, apparently. Like I said, this is dirt sheet news, but it's on like all of
But
them.
that is today's wrestling. Like that's how you get. And I'm sorry if this ruins things for people. That's how you get the sound in a super kick.
Well, the thing is I was reading an interesting article about this afterwards because I'm reading this. This is the one piece of news I think out of everything that I really went into. Because I was like, what the fuck? It's been done since the 50s.
Yeah, but Tajiri came into America to really popularize it.
Um, Actually, it was in the 80s that it was first used on a
Hmm,
super kick.
okay.
It wasn't originally used on a super kick, and I think it was the late 80s when they started, and I didn't remember where I saw it was from. But the thing is, like, that is most of current day stuff. It really is. I know Randy Orton got some heat over it back at one of the takeovers for calling it like a slap fest or whatever. But that's the wrestling. I mean, the thing is, we've become accustomed to like the knee strikes and the kicks and stuff like that sounding real.
Yeah, because like with that extra little smack, it makes everything just feel like it connected properly, especially when they get the camera angle right.
Yeah, but the thing is like when you just see it, you're like, oh, and like, not to be a nerd here for a second, the human brain registering it, when there's a sound provided, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck.
Well,
And
that's very
so
true.
that's why that's one of the they always talk about the psychological side of wrestling. That's one of those things. It's crowd investment. You actually have to know how to invest in crowd, and it's just the simple thing of sight and a sound being able to
It's a
connect
part of
them.
selling.
Yep.
It's a part of selling and playing the gimmick.
Yeah. So, but I just saw it and I'm like, well, you guys just fucked 90% of your NXT roster.
And a lot of the main roster too.
Oh, there's a lot of the main roster, but there's a lot more in NXT if you pay
Hmm.
attention.
Oh yeah, but that just further proves our theory that Adam Cole will be leaving WWE.
Oh, like, and this is not a shot on Cole, but there's a lot of his moveset that utilizes that thigh slap. And
There is.
Adam Cole, once again, this is not a knock on him because he is one of the absolute best, but his super kick, and I don't know why, watching everybody, even the Bucks, because the Bucks are pretty obvious on theirs too. Adam Cole is the most obvious thigh slap super kick in years. And that's his finish to
Mm.
his matches right before usually Panama Sunrise.
To me, it's probably due to the fact that he wears tights and is such a pale complexion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's
Like,
not very tan. Like, he is very pale. And I mean, that's coming from somebody who is literally a white hand. Like,
wow. Wow, you are yeah, you are that pale that the light is like I'm going to like what's the word? Fucking
like God ray almost.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, basically.
Like, if
Wow.
I turn my hand, you can kind of see the actual shade of my hand.
With the
For anybody
shadow.
that's just listening, this is very boring and not
Yeah,
wrestling related, and I
sorry.
apologize.
Anyways, that's what happens when you get us going at fucking 11
That's
o'clock
very
now
true.
with a lot of wrestling to cover. Anyways, the absolute final one here that I have, which is great because I guess you have to.
You managed to not hit any of mine so far.
I don't know what the fuck yours are going to be. The final one here, we will talk about it during NXT, but I will reveal it now anyways. There was a controversial ending to the WWE Women's Tag Team title match. Very controversial ending. And Adam Pearce was involved. Regal and Pearce were
Oh,
seen
you're making
talking
me
on
go back to
NXT,
it.
and Regal announced that next week there would be a announcement that would change the landscape of NXT.
Mm-hmm.
This announcement reportedly not a report, but a spoiler.
Hang on. Before you do this, my prediction is it's women's tag titles.
It's tagged spoiler. It's not even a report. This is supposedly a spoiler. WWE is introducing the NXT Women's Tag Team titles.
It's in my notes. I called it and everything.
I am disgusted.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
I saw this evening before SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually swore at my computer and walked away from it. Like, I was
You
sitting here
didn't see this
doing
coming?
stuff. The worst part is I did, but I was so hoping that they did that to get the internet being like, here's what it is, and actually do something next week. The reason why, okay, I have a valid reason why. It's because think of what next week's NXT is contending with.
Mm-hmm.
The post-Revolution show.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why there's 2 championship matches.
The card is huge. So my thought process was they've got us thinking it's so evident that we've got to watch on Wednesday to see if they're going to be that stupid. And then they're going to turn around and actually be like, here's the thing. And you try to make that Mick Foley change the channel moment, right? So maybe, everybody's like, oh, it's good. And even the people who aren't watching, going back to the WCW, WWE stuff, people that are watching WCW, so AEW, not trying to make a comparison, but
No,
you're sitting there watching. A lot of people sit on Twitter. I sit on Twitter through it and scroll through and see what people are saying all the time. And I see, breaking news, NXT announces, and it is actually something. I mean, we've been in a pandemic for a year. This could be a major announcement. And that would get me to flip from AEW to NXT. And so in my mind, long story short, I was like, they won't go this route. Like, I'm thinking at a higher level. This is where they're thinking. I am right. And then I saw this article and I was like, fuck this. Nope. Fucking done.
My point is, it's WWE. You're giving them too much credit that it's not just apes in a corner with a pen going, oh.
Don't make fun of Bruce Pritchard like that. holy shit, I need to hit the nuclear heat button for that one, because that one is going to
That was
bite
more
me.
of a joke, but
That's going to bite me in the ass one day. Watch, I'm gonna fucking go through for wrestling. I'm gonna fucking get a job, and Bruce Pritchard is gonna walk up to me and be like, "Hey, somebody sent me this link, fucker. guess who?
yeah,
Guess who's jobbing for the next fucking year?"
because that came from
Me.
your mouth.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're not in danger. I am. But
But like, in all honesty,
fuck. Sorry, Bruce. I didn't mean it.
yeah, I apologize, but at the same time, do better.
I agree. Um. Okay, so
I
do
got
you
two
have
left.
anything to add though to the NXT tag belts? Like,
I see that that's exactly what they're gonna do, but why do they need it? Are they gonna introduce an NXT UK Women's Tag Team Championships?
here's the only issue I have with it. Um, it's that looking at a tag division, there is legitimately only one brand with a tag division right now for women. The main roster, they didn't even have to permanently move them to NXT. They could have put them on there, and the worst part is this isn't meant for it to come across awful, but nobody would even think about those titles on Friday unless you watch NXT. And here's the thing though, a lot of people don't realize this, millions and millions of people in this audience, there is a lot of people that only watch the main roster still, Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, they're totally 100%.
And nobody would have even thought tonight, where are the women's tag belts?
No,
Monday, nobody
they,
would have thought about it. If they split Lana and Naomi and never said another word this
yeah,
coming Monday night, nobody would ever remember. Like, there would be people, I shouldn't say nobody, but the majority would not remember that Lana and Naomi had a title shot.
no, that's very fair. Now, going off of this, I remember messaging you when all of this was going down during the match. My prediction is by 2022, the WWE Women's Tag Team titles will be completely defunct.
Yep, I could not agree literally anymore with you.
Now, maybe these NXT Women's Tag titles might completely revitalize the women's tag division. Hopefully they do, and hopefully I'm wrong because I would love to see some really good women's tag matches. I
We
just don't see it happening.
we saw legitimately, and I mean it, we saw how good it can be during the Women's Dusty Cup. At first, I will be completely honest, when I saw they were doing a Women's Dusty Cup, I was like, you know what? Okay, the men have it. We're being very equal in pro wrestling. The women
Yep.
deserve to have a tournament. But the worst part is, most of the teams are just going to be mad because it's going to be like the main roster. And then I
Yeah.
watched the Dusty Cup, and sure, a lot of the pairings were just kind of like, here you go. But they all made it work on a much better level than they ever should have.
And the
Somehow.
ones that were already kind of like teams or just friends really came together as proper tag teams.
Exactly. Exactly. And so I was like, holy shit. So, like, WWE does have a women's tag division, but,
Yes.
it's only
They just
on
decide to
this
break
show.
up the best one.
I will
Do I have
forever
to say it?
say, I will forever say, and I have no problem saying it, and I will say it till the day I die, the best women's tag team I've ever seen for so many reasons, legitimately, in my opinion, was the Iconics. I for two characters that so many people didn't like, I don't know why, even in their heel stuff, not that they really got face stuff, but there was some in between
Yeah.
stuff. I fucking love them. Probably two of my favorite together, not to take away from them being apart, but when they were together, probably two of my favorite female performers of
Yeah.
potentially all time. Like, they're in that very short list.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And absolute shame they were broken up by If this match is lost, they break up. What?
Yep. Yep.
But
To
anyway,
to the Riot Squad, who got back together after Ruby Riot turned heel on them.
and the best one's not even there anymore. Well, not the best one, but my favorite one isn't even there anymore.
Yeah, I'd say she was my favorite. Liv is number one. I love Liv.
Liv is the best one, but like Sarah is
Sarah
my
was
favorite.
awesome. Sarah was really
Yeah.
cool. Like, not to take anything away from Ruby Riot. I mean, it's called the Riot Squad, but they were
It ain't
like,
about her.
but yeah, they were like, this group is supposed to be about you, but like, this is where we get to shine. And it was like, okay, sure.
It was really just it was so cool.
Yeah, but anyways, we won't hold up on that. We'll do podcasts about this stuff here soon. We've actually been discussing we mentioned it on the last cast. We've discussed a little about potential schedule changes and stuff like that, new ideas for post-Mania, which it should all be exciting stuff coming for Walking the Ropes going forward. So we'll finish off the news bit with your two pieces that I apparently never hit.
Yeah, they're just kind of little silly ones because I totally forgot until like right after SmackDown.
Totally fair.
Lacey Evans was reportedly supposed to actually win at the Chamber.
Really?
Yes.
So
and
maybe, okay, so here's the thing. I didn't click on the Lacey Evans articles that I saw because it was the main headline and whatever was usually Lacey Evans had informed WWE of her plans to get pregnant. And the worst part is that is probably on my main sites. That would probably be where that information was revealed. But I looked at the headline and I was like, okay, so that tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah. For mine, it said Asuka Elimination Chamber plans revealed.
Oh. I might have
And
missed
it was
that.
just she was supposed to lose.
Lacey Evans was supposed to become Raw Women's Champion.
Which to me implies that we were supposed to see Charlotte Lacey until Mania.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Moving on, because I really don't want to talk about that. Because I don't, no offense to Charlotte at all.
Here's the worst.
I don't want to see her in the picture anymore.
Here's the worst part. Here's the worst fucking part. We may not get that shit show of a storyline, Charlotte and Lacey. I mean, it gave some great promos between Charlotte and Rick, but that was the only good thing to come out of it. I'm sorry, was promos. You're telling me now we've got to witness Charlotte and Asuka again for the same outcome as this year is what, 38?
As when
so 4 years
Empress
ago,
of Tomorrow lost.
The Empress of Tomorrow, this undefeated champion, she came to the main roster, won the Rumble, and tapped at WrestleMania to Charlotte Flair.
Now, maybe they go the other way and Asuka gets her win back and she finally returns back to that power. And I guess that would imply that if Asuka loses, she has to then beat the person to regain that Empress of Tomorrow. And I'm really not wanting that to be a thing.
I'm sorry, so you're telling me for Asuka to go back to this gimmick, which nobody's going to give two shits about anymore, she has to get her win back against Charlotte Flair at Mania, which, in my opinion, would be one of the, like, I mean, not saying Charlotte should win it, but it would be one of the biggest we fucked up moments, and we're gonna fix it this year, and everybody would look at it and go, okay, I really don't give two shits that Asuka just beat Charlotte. That is the worst part about that match, and it's just me being brutally honest. I'd be like, cool, okay, we're gonna see you face 2-3 other people we don't give a shit about, and then Becky Lynch is gonna come back, beat you for the title, and we're actually gonna care about the title again.
Becky Lynch, nah, that's a safe bet. Fucking Ronda Rousey.
Oh my.
Do you want to hear my other news point now?
Okay, I was gonna say I'm gonna have to hit nuclear heat if we fucking sit on that point for too long.
All right, so moving on. Another one of these is kind of from those like sound bites of the AEW. What are they
Oh,
called? What do you call
the
them?
the podcast?
Yeah, like is
Oh,
it unrestricted?
unrestricted. Yep,
Is that what
unrestricted.
they just keep doing it all the way through up until the pay-per-view?
That
Because I think that was in this.
they did they had Tony Khan. Tony Khan comes on the
Oh,
week of the pay-per-view
okay.
and
I see.
talks
Okay,
about the
so never mind.
pay-per-view.
Anyway,
If you're
this was on
talking
an yeah.
Cody Rhodes stuff, that was a media call.
Okay, that's what I was trying to.
Okay.
I couldn't remember the name of that.
Yep. Yeah. It was a media call because it's one of their
Yeah.
big pay-per-views.
Yep. Okay. So he was. I think he was asked about Pat McAfee, or something along those lines.
I did
Uh,
include this because it just made me roll my eyes that it
uh,
even happened.
it made me laugh more along the lines of the response from Pat. So Cody basically just went on to say, Pat's been begging for a job, and I believe it 100%.
I do too. He seems like if he is actually like he comes across on radio and that and the stuff I've seen, he would be the guy to go to NXT, do these cool things, have people being like he's actually really decent, and then turn around to AEW and be like, "Hey, if you pay me double, I'll show up on your show and we'll fucking make a joke of him."
Yeah, no, that's
Like,
just it.
no.
Then he fires back, I guess you could say, by going, "Well, actually, I've been contemplating retirement." Yeah,
Yeah.
sure you have, buddy. You
Sure.
had one good storyline?
I've done so much in pro wrestling that I'm gonna retire. Okay, you had, a good match against Adam Cole, which Adam Cole fucking carried. It's not that you didn't do anything, but Adam Cole
Just Adam
carried
Cole's
it.
a god. Well, not a god, but like basically a god of wrestling.
And then you were involved in war games, which yeah, you took some neat bumps, you did some neat stuff, but you had three other guys on your team and four guys on the other team to make the match look good.
Mhm.
Sorry, I
And
am
I
very
think he had
opinionated
one
on this
high spot.
stuff. Yeah, I think he jumped off
I
the
don't
top
like
of
him.
war games, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. Tonight is the sassy cast apparently, because normally we try to be pretty nice on this cast, and today we are just tearing into people.
Again, I'm sorry, Bruce.
I I totally forgot about that already. Sorry, Bruce. That's gonna be a piece of merch one day.
Just sorry, Bruce.
Yeah, sorry, Bruce. If you listen to the podcast, and the worst part is this is gonna be a running gag now. So,
Oh, it will be.
um, but yeah, okay.
Do you want to move on to Impact then, shall we?
Yes, we shall. We will try not to hold up on these cards any more than necessary because it's already gonna be a long enough show as is.
I have a feeling we'll just go through the matches and whatever kind of segments are in between them
Yeah,
easily.
unless something really needs to be talked about, probably
Yeah,
won't.
like we'll just say what the match was, the result, and then kind of move on. I feel.
Yeah,
For
you've
the
had a
most part.
lot of time to watch this stuff. If you normally watch it, you know what we're talking about. If you didn't watch it, find time, go watch it.
Yeah,
Before the Impact, which I
I didn't even
totally
catch.
forgot about. It's been on 2 weeks and I couldn't give two shits. We had Rohit Raju, accompanied by Mahabali Shira against James Storm, obviously with Chris Sabin.
I
There's
can't wait for them to have a name.
well,
The Motor City Beer Machines.
yeah, because they can't use beer money because they don't have the money side of it.
Yeah.
I actually saw a thing, really quick side tangent. I saw a thing, I think it was on Twitter. It was a GIF at one point of them teaming in the past, and James
really?
Storm does the beer, and Chris Sabin's like, guns! And it was
That would
like, it
work.
was in front of like a live crowd, and I'm like, when the fuck did this happen?
There was probably a time when Shelly just couldn't show up, and they're like, James, you want to help out in this match?
Yeah.
You're, sure.
Yeah, fucking. They actually were talking about it real quick. He is approaching his 1,000th match for TNA Impact.
Will that include if he ever wrestled in the NWA version of that?
Yeah, yeah,
So
it
that
would, because that is
include,
still technically TNA history.
right, but that then doesn't include like the new power that he was on.
No, because it is
It's entirely a different brand.
they severed in 2008.
Right. Okay. I wanted to make sure because he did wrestle for a little while as a champion there for so
Yeah,
I
just
wasn't
last year, just last year. Um,
so
but yeah, so 1,000th Impact match, which is crazy. That's a lot
that
of matches for one promotion.
well yeah, we talked about Kane at one point who has wrestled the most for Raw or the most for WWE period, but he's also the most losses in WWE as well.
Yeah, for televised events, right?
I think just in general.
Wow. Wow. But yeah,
But yeah,
Storm picks
let's go.
up the win with the last call super kick. The pin goes through, and Mahabali Shira is in the ring right away, attacks Storm and Sabin, and they head out, and we head off to the main card. Um, we
I
start with,
love that these shows immediately start with matches.
yeah, it's nice. It's nice. So Impact Wrestling, we get the triple threat number one contenders match for the X Division Championship. Black Taurus against Chris Bay against Ace Austin, which he
Not
was
for the championship.
the number one contenders for the
You
championship.
said you
I
just
said
said
number.
for the champion. I heard just for the championship.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I said number one contenders. Well, TJP's not in there, so not for the title.
Yeah.
Madman Fulton accompanies Ace Austin.
I apologize for cutting you off there.
No worries. Maybe I did fuck up. I don't know. It's late. I'm
It's
tired.
late.
It's late. I'm tired. I have excuses. I don't know if you have anything you want to say specifically about the match.
I mean, besides the fact that I thought Ace Austin was gonna lose, no.
I went into it going, it's too evident. It's too obvious, and they're gonna swerve us out. And then Ace
Well, and I thought
Austin,
it'd be a good story for him too to continue being like, well, I did win the tournament. Like
like with
I am like I have a shot right here.
yeah, like kind of running that whole gimmick of being like, I don't know why you guys are trying to make me contend when I literally proved I'm the best.
Like exactly. Like I keep getting screwed over in these matches, but no, he comes over, gets the win pretty much.
And the
Not
best part
like
about it, they could do a very, very slow, sympathetic face turn for him. It
exactly
Kurt Hawkins, Brian Myers, okay? Kurt Hawkins started the losing streak as a heel. And you know what he became as of it? A
a tag team
fucking
champion
babyface tag team champion.
for a day, but
Well, but still, it was a huge payoff to this
it
storyline
was.
in a sense. I mean, him
Yeah.
and his best friend got to win the tag titles at Mania. Us talking about, like, as wrestling fans, we are in the same position that they are, but
Yes.
like they were, like,
It would be amazing if we even got that opportunity to do
like,
something like that.
that is like the
Like
end of a fairy tale story. It doesn't matter that they held the tag titles for a day.
they
That
still at the end of it, like got it.
as a personal thing, that is something you could have never dreamed of, and
Exactly.
that was the payoff for them, which was probably exactly what they wanted.
Mhm.
You could do that to Ace Austin, especially if we're gonna start running back around to having fans in attendance, hopefully soon. Um, that'd be a great way to start turning this character. But they just gave him the win. He pinned Chris Bay.
Yeah, which I mean saves Tarus, but also kind of ruins that storyline Decay was going with. And I was like, so what are we doing with Decay now?
Oh, Tarus will be gone in a week. And we'll never hear another fucking thing about him.
I thought he was gonna be a mainstay for Decay.
Maybe he will be. Maybe I'm being too harsh about it. But I'm like, the thing is, I'm sure AAA's got an event this month that they're gonna be like, nah, get him here.
But was he? I'm wondering if they stole him, like if he was a free agent.
Not from my knowledge. It's because Impact and AAA are working together.
Maybe.
I think.
Well, I know they work together, but at the same time, it wouldn't be surprising if, because Taya is a great example of a wrestler who was working for AAA and then started working for Impact.
He's currently under contract for Lucha Libre AAA, from what I am reading, and is making appearances for Impact Wrestling.
Okay, I apologize. I just need to hand my roommate something. I am so sorry.
Oh, jeez, come on. Professionalism. Return to AAA.
I apologize.
No worries. Yeah, you're back. So, anyways, continuing through here, we have a backstage interview segment with Jazz and Jordan Grace. Fire and Flava interrupt. It is quite the segment, and basically what we get out of it somehow, some way, is Kiara Hogan being inserted into the Deonna Purrazzo Jordan Grace match. I don't remember what happened in the promo, if I'm being honest, because I
Yeah,
didn't fucking care.
honestly, yeah, that's basically what happened.
We get Matt Cardona and Brian Myers backstage. Um,
Yep.
Myers is basically like, why don't you call it like 50-50-ish? And Cardona's like, nah. Like, that is
Pretty much,
bait.
yeah.
I'm not trying to be an ass. This is what these segments felt like that night. Like, if I can sum it up like this, like, legitimately, like...
They were dry.
Tennille Dashwood, obviously accompanied by Kaleb with a K, versus Havoc. And
The only funny thing I thought of this was Kaleb said that Havoc smells like sauerkraut.
sure.
That was funny.
Why the fuck not? And Tennille won? Like, I don't know.
I made a joke in my notes as like, and Havoc hurts her hole.
Oh my god.
Because that's pretty much what happened when the finish came.
Yeah, and then Nevaeh beat on Kaleb, and that was pretty well the segment.
And I basically figured out what her finisher is. It's a Crossroads DDT.
Yeah. It's neat. It looks neat. But
yeah. The thing that I thought was horrible of Tennille, she goes and makes Kaleb take a picture after he's just been beat on.
It's all about her.
Gotta get that win shot. Like,
fuck. Probably. I mean, I think I actually give it my best segment of the night, but we'll get to that. One of my favorite segments of the night. Building on the Trey Miguel Sami Callihan storyline. Sami Callihan at Trey's school.
yeah.
This segment. This is one of those ones. Like we talk about it for matches. This is in my opinion, a really just good segment. Sami Callihan did a fantastic job making me care about this storyline in what was like a so obvious for Sami video package, but it just kind of made me hate him as a heel.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. When it was all said and done, and Sami had basically adopted this person to his clan or whatever he calls his group, which I feel like I'm still set that Miguel is going to join that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But they're setting up for a really good match between these two that will obviously eventually end with Miguel joining the group.
Yeah. Yep.
But he basically takes out every member besides this last dude who just kind of runs in, and
Yeah.
Sammy's just kind of like, I like you, and it's basically just because he wasn't in the room initially.
Sammy's fucking weird.
Yeah.
We head to the Swingers Palace.
But
Um,
TJ's there.
TJP's there, asking about betting odds and shit, and I
Uh,
just,
I love that he just kept winning money off of Raju's words.
yeah,
He would come in and he'd be like, well, I'm gonna win the X Division Championship. And he'd get like $100.
like yeah, like I bet like if this person comes in, this is what they'll say, and in Swingers Palace, all bets are taken.
Yeah. And then as we're about to get like a beatdown between TJP, Fulton, like not even Fulton, like just Ace, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Um, they basically are just like, well, let's get some betting odds on this. And then that ends.
sure. Violent by Design promo, which was an interesting promo. You have notes on this, I take it. I'll let you take it.
It was interesting, like really interesting. Basically, exactly what we needed. But the one thing that I was annoyed by, Diener's entrance was yellow. This promo was red and black.
Yeah, that was something that I noticed, and I was like, I feel like I shouldn't be bothered by this, but this is fucking bothering me.
It's just weird. It's an inconsistency that I don't understand why it's there.
Yeah,
Um, but it's really neat because where I thought this was going, I thought Diener was going to get kicked out of Violent by Design, but I don't think he has been. I think he's
yeah,
going to be evolved into a better version of Diener yet again. Like, basically, Eric's like, you need to pay for your failures. You brought Jake to the table, but you didn't put him through it. Stuff like that. And then he looks at Joe. He's like, you know what needs to be done. And then they go around the corner. And I can only imagine Joe just grabs Diener by the back of the head and just smashes him into the concrete wall that's beside the door.
yeah.
Because when Diener crawls around the corner, he doesn't look very good.
No, um, and yeah, that was that promo. I sat there at the end being like that was good.
They locked the door on him, which was kind of neat, but that's why I think Diener's gonna come back as this monster sort of thing almost. Because they locked him in this room, it seemed.
So similar to how they turned him into what he is now, taking it a step further.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that would be an awesome character arc for him.
Maybe give him a mask, like a really neat, like not necessarily a full face mask, but something similar to like Mankind or something like that.
That'd be
Or even
that'd
a
be
Hannibal,
interesting.
like a Hannibal Lecter, that'd be kind of cool.
That'd be interesting to see for sure. We get the AEW ad for this week. Um, if you have any notes on the ad, I mean, we'll be reviewing Dynamite, but
It was funny. But basically just Tony is the captain now.
yep.
I'm the captain now.
Um,
My
we get
only thing that I will say about these, and I mentioned this again to you, is they feel like the Rick and Morty interdimensional cable stuff, where it's just like everything kind of feels improv. Like besides what Tony Schiavone says,
yeah,
everything just kind
which
of
you
feels
can
shot from the
tell.
hip.
Shivani's lines, if you uh I mean, I probably overanalyze the audio in that, being a nerd in that, watching the video. You can actually hear when it flips from their video that they're doing to an in booth audio recording of Shivani talking. When Tony Khan's like, Tony, tell him what's on the show, it flips to Tony obviously being this close to a mic in a booth
Yeah, with a
running through the
pop
card.
filter and
Yeah,
yeah.
so but yeah, it feels that improv-y. I agree with the Rick and Morty stuff.
I'm here with real fake doors, and as you can see, it's a fake door.
Yeah. Uh we get a video promo package thing from Moose hyping up
Oos, oos. Is that still a thing?
probably uh hyping up their title match next Saturday. Wow. Um
Is that the
because
same as Fastlane?
it's Fastlane next weekend.
Is it? I don't know.
Fastlane is 2 weeks away still, right?
I don't know.
Please don't tell me we have Sacrifice and then Fastlane next weekend.
21st. 2 weeks.
Oh, whew. Okay. Thank God. Thank God.
Alrighty.
Um,
Basically, TLDR, he's gonna win the Impact Championship.
yeah. So TNA title gets put in this Wednesday. Because we don't even see these guys on the card, do we? Beyond their video packages.
Besides their video package, yeah, no, it needs to happen. Yeah.
But yeah, up next we have Good Brothers and Finjuice from New Japan Pro Wrestling against Reno Scum and Triple XL because, they both had matches the past 2 weeks, and so we'll just put all four teams together and yeah. Booking.
I figured out Reno Scum's name.
Yeah, I had them 2 weeks ago when they were on.
We did, but I didn't
It
remember
was
them.
Luster the Legend, and
Adam Thornstowe.
yes, thank you. Yeah.
Why is the guy's name just literally Luster?
The thing I read says it was Luster the Legend.
Right, but there's it's Luster and then the legend is in quotes, so it's one of those ones where his name is Luster, but it's the nickname is the Legend.
Okay.
But so I'm not 100% sure.
So, but yeah, I don't know if you have anything from this other than the Good Brothers end up picking up the pin. That's it.
And then just about pretty much argue about who's the person in front to celebrate when the ring's big enough for them to stand side by side.
Yep. We get Rich Swan's video package hyping up.
Yeah.
Now you gave the TLDR to Moose's. What is the TLDR to Rich Swan's?
Before the TLDR, he kind of forgets what happened last week.
You think?
Because he just goes, Moose doesn't even have a real world title. And I'm like, right, but he does.
Yeah. You didn't watch the show last week. You were on your way to the Impact Zone and you didn't see the show and you just knew Moose was in the main event. Got it.
Right. Okay. Anyways, TLDR, he's gonna win at Sacrifice.
Yeah. Yep. We have Finjuice and the Good Brothers backstage arguing, and if you didn't see this from a mile away, you aren't watching the same show I am. We get the title match for Sacrifice because, yeah.
I did not see this coming.
I know
the
I'm
former young boys for the Good Brothers, when they come good, are gonna challenge for the titles?
I feel like we're being really awful tonight towards these shows, but they deserve
It's probably our tiredness, but yeah. That one
Well,
just came
it'll
we
be
didn't need
interesting
this
by the
kind
time
of
we get to
build.
SmackDown. It'll be interesting by the time we get to
Oh,
SmackDown
God.
if this is how we are for Impact. First of
Yeah.
many shows.
The thing that I just don't like is they didn't need to be this obvious about it.
Oh, really?
We
They
could have
were
just
obvious?
We could have just had Good Brothers come out and been like, "You were our good boys," or young boys.
Yeah.
Good boys.
Oh, Oh, jeez, yeah.
You are our young boys.
Our good young boys.
Now it seems like you've gotten better. Well, let's see if that's true, and then
Sure.
have them actually beat them in a regular match, and then be like, hey, well, now we beat you, so put the titles on the line.
Yep.
Sorry,
Now,
it's a little easier, and it's still as obvious, but it just makes a little more sense than we're a team now. We're not.
well, let's talk about the absolute best booking on the card. Eddie Edwards versus Brian Myers with Matt Cardona as the special guest ref. The fucking finish to this match is the only part of the match that intrigued me purely because it was so poorly written. I couldn't believe I was actually watching it unfold. Brian
Uh-huh.
Myers loads, is it his knee pad?
His elbow pad.
His elbow pad. He loads his elbow pad, hits Edwards. Matt Cardona is not even looking at the situation, turns, goes, I saw you, and calls the match, and Brian Myers leaves.
Um,
That is it.
Did you notice where he loaded his elbow pad? He loaded it on the bicep, but smashed with the elbow. So he didn't even hit with the illegal weapon.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Unless he hits with a clothesline. But what kind of damage does a clothesline do, even with a weight in it? Like,
To the jaw, because a clothesline, even though we see it on the chest, it's supposed to be more of an up thing. So maybe he slips
yeah,
it up, or I don't know.
but
It sucked.
it looked like an elbow to me from what I can remember. But
It fucking sucked. This was the culmination to this match and this buildup of Matt Cardona gonna be the guest ref. This fucking sucked.
oh,
Um,
the movie hits is called the roster cut. So whatever that move is that a clothesline or?
uh, I
And I
have
love that that's the name for it. Good job, Myers. Whoops.
um, yeah, that is clever. I don't know what the roster cut
Now, if it's
is.
not actually called that, that's what I think
No,
D'Lo called it.
from what I see regarding that impact, it
Yeah,
is called the budget cuts.
but budget cuts. Okay, I misheard it, but
Or
I thought I thought I
no,
heard
roster
roster cut.
cuts. Sorry, I was reading
Okay,
the wrong. I was literally looking on Google and I saw roster cuts, and then in his Wikipedia one that I saw, it said budget cuts was when he was cut from.
okay.
Uh, so I was just wrong there. And
That's
they
all good.
don't show anywhere on.
So if anybody knows what Myers' move is for that, that's what he hits it with, and I don't understand why he loaded his bicep instead of his elbow.
The roster cut is in fact a lariat.
Okay, but it's still, to me, it is weird.
Yeah, the roster cut or the clothesline from Stamford.
Was that when it was in WWE?
Potentially. I feel like I can remember hearing that.
Yeah.
But
Uh, we then
uh
yeah. So
interview.
yeah, we talk about the triple threat match, and Pros is like, I'm gonna win,
Yeah.
and then Jazz and Grace come in. They'll be too distracted figuring out who beat down ODB, but then she proceeds to tell them who beat down ODB.
Yeah. Yep.
Like
Um
yeah, no.
then we head off to what is the main event, and I was like, "Oh, okay." We had Jordan Grace, who was accompanied by Jazz, Kiara Hogan, who was accompanied by Tasha Steeles, and finally Deonna Purrazzo, who was accompanied by Kimberly and Susan in a triple threat match. And
It wasn't bad.
it the
It wasn't
the match was decent. It was
yeah.
it was decent, I guess.
I mean, we have Grace and Purrazzo, two fantastic, and I don't want to put anything against Hogan, but compared to those two
Yeah.
fantastic competitors.
Yes, agreed there, big time. So it was good. I don't know. It felt weird that it was the main event.
I just
I
didn't like it that Jordan Grace took the pin
That sucked.
because if anything, I thought this triple threat match was to save both Grace and Purrazzo.
But the worst part is Hogan's a champ too.
Right.
Grace is the only one in that match that wasn't a champ. So Grace takes the pin.
I'm gonna be honest, if we're looking at that,
We're we're
have the
head we're heading into a pay-per-view.
have the knockouts titles felt are the knockouts titles being defended on the pay-per-view?
Well, we're gonna get Deanna and ODB for the Knockouts title, and then we've had the build up with
Wait, you're
Tennille and
assuming we're actually
Havoc.
gonna get that match? You're assuming we're gonna get her defending her title finally?
Yeah, yeah, we'll get that match, and she's gonna beat ODB.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
because it's sacrifice, because we're leading up to Hard to Kill, right? So we're gonna get all this storyline out of the way, get ODB off the show, and actually bring probably gonna finally do an AEW crossover with Kenny
Pay-per-view?
for the no for going into their next show Rebellion, um
Entertainment
which
Nerd is excited for Sacrifice, the pay-per-view. We are excited for it as well.
yeah, like it definitely should be good, but just I mean the thing is that match kind of seems evident,
Mhm.
and then the thing is the worst part is we're getting the stuff with Havoc and Tennille and Vea, and I can only assume that's going to result in some form of a team getting a shot at Fire and Flava to be like, we can do it. Just I can see them setting it up this week and pushing it right
Yeah.
away because they don't have another team.
That's just it. Like with one, we've really not seen any sort of challenger besides Grace, who's been tied up with the tag titles. Um, we haven't seen a competitor for Peraza. That's why I
Yeah,
don't think she's going to be defending.
no, that's fair. Um, yeah, Entertainment Nerd just said I think Finjuice have a good chance of taking the titles. So here's my only issue with it is once again we were talking. You got to remember, Sacrifice is going to be very much like No Surrender. They are a filler pay-per-view to build up to Rebellion, which we already have the evident hint that Kenny Omega is going to be a part of. The thing is, I can only assume with everything happening on this Sunday with Revolution, I have a feeling we're going to get more crossover that we haven't been expecting. I think we're going to start building up for some really good stuff, and whatnot. And I can only
Yeah.
assume we're going to build up now to Bucks Good Brothers, which I think they've got to give to Impact. They've got to give Impact a draw out of this.
Yeah.
And I think we get
No,
that
they
over
have to.
there. We get Kenny taking the title, and I can't figure out what we're gonna get from Bucks and Good Brothers, but that's gonna be their draw for that tag title at Rebellion. So like I think Finjuice totally could take the titles, but we have no reason for the big match at Rebellion because we more than likely, if we're being honest, we're either getting Bucks going for their titles or we're getting titles for titles if they don't pass it off to Jericho and MJF to set this up. Like it all depends on how AEW wants to handle their titles. Maybe they'd be
Exactly.
better with taking the titles off the Bucks this Sunday, sending them into this like okay, we're done here. We want your belts. And then if they lose on Impact, it doesn't look bad on AEW.
No. And you don't necessarily need to count that in their win-loss record.
Exactly. Like it doesn't look bad on AEW because they're not the champs anymore. And so it doesn't look bad for just the Impact because if they are the AEW champs, it's got to be titles for titles. It can't just be one way. And then
No, exactly.
because then what we have to do is we have to do it the other way on the other person's show, and we know the outcomes of both matches. That's where it sucks.
Yeah, where if it's a winners take all, the only way out of that is a DQ finish, and they know how much fans hate that.
Yeah. I honestly still think, I honestly do believe it. We are getting this is a bold prediction here, but I've honestly been thinking it for weeks now. The situation we have here, I could almost put money on it, is the WWE ECW situation from the early 2000s, late 90s. Tony Khan is paying money to Impact Wrestling, more than likely to keep them afloat,
Mm-hmm.
to be this kind of side gig that they can, get because they have the Good Brothers, and this way they don't have to pay the Good Brothers like that salary to get them on their card. They can kind of push around the ratings a little bit. Like, this is totally that situation where,
Yeah.
like we talk about Kenny's taking the Impact title and potentially the TNA title at Rebellion, because what we've been told is happening at Sacrifice. Rich
Yeah.
Swann keeping the Impact and winning the TNA title, double champion. We're gonna get those against the AEW belt at Rebellion, and Kenny Omega is going to be this multi-world champion.
Yeah. Exactly.
And there's no way that's happening without Tony Khan being like, "Hey, Impact, here's some money." Like, okay,
Yeah.
you guys get to run for another like 6 to 8 months. We
Yep.
get some good draws out of it, and then we go from there. Because you cannot say wholeheartedly, with the amount of times it's happened in the past few years, you cannot wholeheartedly go, there's no way Impact isn't struggling for money.
No.
And that's no disrespect to Impact. That's smart
It's just the way
business
they
on
are.
their part. To do this deal with Tony Khan, I'm not shitting on it, but it was it was probably callous calling Omega being like, "Hey, buddy, can we work out a deal?" And Omega going to Khan, because this was Omega's idea. Remember, as Tony Khan said, Omega went to Khan and went, "Hey, we have this idea, gonna cost some money. We gotta do it this way." Tony Khan was probably like, "Okay," because it's more eyes on his fucking product. Sorry, Tony
Well,
Khan is a smart fucking businessman, the same way Vince McMahon was in the late 90s, early 2000s. I don't shit on Vince all day,
no. And
but
I still see this as Tony eventually buys Impact.
he does. He does 100%, same as Vince bought ECW. We are on the exact same path.
Mhm.
I
And it's
firmly
not to
believe
say
it.
that Impact will die, but I think
Nope.
TNA will come back.
Potentially, I could see them. I believe Anthem has money, though. I don't doubt Tony has more money, but I don't think Anthem needs Tony per se. The only issue with that, because yeah, Anthem definitely does have money. Like, they're not struggling on the Impact part
No.
necessarily, but when they picked Impact up, Impact was profitable due to the fact that it was generating live audience revenue, running in smaller places like Toronto and that, and they were pulling
Yeah.
in decent money. You got to remember, we've been in a shutdown pandemic for a year. They are paying
Yeah.
out contracts that not all of them are small. The Good Brothers are a fucking pretty penny and stuff like that. And their income is like Anthem.
Almost half by
You gotta
possibly.
you gotta remember, Impact is not Anthem's only asset. So
Exactly.
they can't dedicate, 75% of what they're making from their other platforms directly to Impact. Impact has to pull in that money still somehow.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, their merch game is not doing it.
No. Whereas AEW has a bank account that is its own now. It's not just Tony Khan's bank account. There is an AEW bank account that is
They've
significantly larger than Impact.
they've got fans every week. Sorry, they're selling tickets. They sold out Revolution in minutes. Their merch game is strong because it's new merch all the time, new deals all the time.
Yeah.
They've got an income where Impact is probably, I mean, TV deals, brand sponsorships, like they're
They're
still
making
making
money.
money, but in the large scheme of things, the dollar amounts, I'm
To make their
sure.
profit margins better,
I
they definitely need help. Not necessarily
Yeah.
need help, but would like help.
Well, if Anthem is offered money from AEW, being like, "Hey, we're gonna do it this way," because they obviously probably have a say over the product, similar to USA and Fox and that.
Yep.
Um, I'm sure Anthem goes, sure. And the thing is, depending on how we come out of this pandemic, the thing is, if Tony Khan turns around to Anthem and goes, "Hey, we'll take this asset off your hands for this," I'm sure he'd have no problem probably offering what they made in 2020, being like, "We'll pay
Or
double."
even more so.
Yeah, we'll pay
Yeah.
double what this brand brought in 2020. We'll pay
Yeah.
triple, and we take it off your hands. I mean, it's business. It's the business world. I mean, it sounds like a weird comparison being from the video game world and that, and realizing that's a thing that happens there. It's just business.
Yeah.
It's happening left, right, and center in the games industry. We're talking kind of a different industry in sense, but it's the same deal of these companies going, you know, here's the money.
Yeah.
Take it. But
Exactly.
back to finish
But
up Impact.
yeah, exactly. The winner of the match, as we stated, was Deonna Purrazzo. And pretty much after the match, it's just this big brawl with literally everyone in
Yeah.
the storyline.
Yeah, one
Not
specific
bad, but just
thing was Jordan Grace and Tasha Steelz brawl up the ramp, so maybe we get Kiara and Tasha versus Grace and Jazz. I don't know. Or did they win? Did they win that tag match? Do they get the title match? Have they gotten it? Maybe that is the match. Maybe I'm totally forgetting that.
I don't remember.
But yeah, and
But
then ODB comes out, takes out Deonna, holds the title up, and it's like, holy shit, would you guess what the title match is at Sacrifice for the women?
the thing is, I still don't think they're gonna do it
I think they will, and that'll be ODB's last appearance.
for a while.
Yeah, until they call her next time. But
Yeah.
that's kind of where ODB is now. But
So, do
anyways,
we want to do our segments and stuff
we'll
for
run
that?
through it show by show because we have so much. I mean, we're already almost an hour and a half in, and we've only gone through the first of many shows.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, I don't think we'll need long for SmackDown.
what did you give a rating out of 5 to Impact Wrestling this week?
I gave it a generous 3.
Yes, you did.
No, now, I didn't like. There were parts that I hated. There really were. But I overall I love the Violent by Design stuff, and I love the Sammy Callahan and stuff. And I'm giving it that in hopes that they're gonna do better in the future, pretty much.
Yeah. Um, I gave it a whole score down from yours. I gave it a 2.
That's fair.
I
No, that's totally fair.
I don't know. I think coming off of last week, my scores have been kind of my
Tainted.
yeah. After SmackDown, I've been a little more on them about stuff. I hate the swinger stuff. It makes my head hurt and shake. Oh yeah, yeah, makes your
Yeah.
head hurt and yeah. Yeah. I liked last week's. This week's I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, no, put
It's just
put Storm
weird.
and Saban back in it, and I get a chuckle. I at least get a chuckle out of it. Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, I give it a 2. I had to be harsh. Your match of the night.
I gave it to the triple threat. It Like I said, it wasn't a bad match per se. It there were parts where I thought it could be better.
That's fair. Um, I gave it to the 8-man tag between Finjuice, Good Brothers, Triple XL, and Reno Scum, purely off the fact that I thought we were gonna get this matchup from just plain arguing, or one of them was going to have a match and the match would happen on, like, Good Brothers have a match, they win, and Vinjuice come out and they're like, hey, or opposite way around. So for them to do a match and see them all kind of trying to work together and still being like, we're better, and then the argument after making the match, I was like, I'm surprised they put the extra effort in with the way Impact has been booking. I'm like, you know what? The match made sense for the storyline. I'll give it to match of the night because I'm just surprised they went that way.
That's fair.
Ace Austin versus TJP is gonna be killer. Yes. For sure. There is absolutely no doubt about that. I mean, ever watch anything from them before? I mean, not even necessarily stuff against each other, but just their solo stuff. Like that's the
Yeah,
thing. I've given a lot of match of the nights or that to TJP already. I'm pretty sure,
I think
with
so.
X
Yeah,
Division stuff. So, but yeah, segment of the night. What'd you give?
the Violent by Design stuff.
Okay. So I gave it to the other half of that, which I mean, I think there was really only two up for contention here. I gave it to Sammy Callahan, going to Trey Miguel's school and wreaking some havoc, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Um, the
performer.
wrestler of the, or yeah, performer wrestler of the night, I gave to Jordan Grace.
So I was kind of an ass here. I gave it to Sammy Callahan.
It's fair. He
Um,
had the best promo for
I
sure.
wanted to give it to Jordan Grace, and I feel terrible taking it away from her, but it's the fact that she took the pin. I was like, okay, yeah,
I gave it to
that
her because she took the pin, and that
because
because
she
it
took that on
annoyed
the
me.
chin. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I gave it to Sammy because, like I said, out of all the segments, that one from start to finish, I was actually like, ooh. The rest of them, I was watching, but I was like, I have not looked down at the time during an Impact so much. I kept looking at the time like, how long is this show? Like, this
yeah.
show is boring the fuck out of me. Um, Speaking about boring the fuck out of me, worst of the night. What did you give to Impact Wrestling for the worst of the night?
I gave it to Havoc versus Tennille.
So I gave it to two things. I gave it to um Havoc and Tennille because I'm like this. Yeah, sure, this is a great segment. Why not? Um,
Yeah, like, yeah,
but I also gave it to the fact that our world title stuff for this week, after the announcements from last week, were two video packages a week before the pay per view.
yeah. It was kind of bad.
Like
Um,
this is awesome. Okay.
yeah,
Anyways, do we want to move on to the next show of our many?
yeah. Do you want to do NXT or Dynamite?
Let's fuck it. Since Dynamite is the go home show, we'll do NXT first.
Alrighty.
Um so NXT, we open with the NXT Tag Team Champions Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch against Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. Good match.
Yeah, and I like that they made a statement or not a statement, but showed the video package before that was like, "Hey, this match can happen, but it's not going to be for the titles
Yep.
because that needs to be earned."
Yep.
And I thought that was a very good thing, especially with having the Dusty Rhodes Classic just happen.
Yep.
It makes perfect sense for a title match not just be handed out.
It worked very, very well. During the match, Imperium is on the stage,
Yeah,
which
just
it
staring.
happened and I was kind of like, maybe I missed something. Why is this happening?
Well,
Like tag tight, like sure, but
well,
where the fuck did you guys come from?
there's apparently a thing with Thatcher. There's a history with Thatcher, and that's why he got distracted. I have no idea what the history is, but there is a history with Thatcher.
That is the issue with just getting into NXT now, and maybe was it NXT UK at one point? Like, were
Well, because
Birch and
Thatcher
Lorcan there?
isn't he British or something like that?
Timothy Thatcher? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Timothy
No?
Thatcher. American. He was born in
Okay.
California.
Okay.
He
But
definitely
yeah,
seems like, for some reason, when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, he definitely seems like he would have been a guy over there for some reason, though. I
I'm just
just,
gonna see if there is a connection to NXT UK.
he just signed February of last year. So,
Oh,
um, him
th-
and Riddle.
hang on a second. Wait a second. What? Okay, so People Chapter
Yes.
47. Oh, I'm trying to find out what the issue is with the Imperium.
Okay.
Where is it? I can see that there's a connect. So, Chapter 47, Ring Camp, Walter, D Tier, I don't know how to say it, and Thatcher. He was a member of Imperium. But then,
Uh,
like,
I
that's what, like, I can't see the full write up in this thing. That's why I'm trying to find it.
well, okay. Yeah, so from 2016 to 2019, Walter and Barthel were members of a stable called Ringkampf alongside Timothy Thatcher and Christian Michael. Ja ja Jacoby. And they worked on several European promotions together.
Okay.
Uh, yeah.
So it seems as though somehow they were signed and now they're trying to bring like this story around. That's very cool. I
That
apologize if
is
this is boring to anybody
that
else.
was really all. Yeah, cuz I personally, and I didn't hear anything said on commentary. I had zero fucking clue why Imperium was out there. I was like, this makes no fucking sense.
But then it kind of made sense why Alexander Wolf was looking at Thatcher after the fight pit.
Why don't I
Because
remember
remember
that?
that? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. There
Holy
was
shit.
Imperium involved with Thatcher after the fight pit too. So
Wow, okay. It'll be interesting to see where
yeah.
that goes.
So
Anyways,
I
the
apologize for anybody that didn't like that.
the outcome
That
of
was neat for us to find out.
yeah, that was cool. The outcome of that match was Lorcan pinning Thatcher. We get Roderick Strong on his way to the ring. He has the Undisputed Era chain in hand, throws it down, basically calls out Adam Cole just to try and run through this segment, and Cole doesn't come out. And here comes Finn Balor because apparently Finn Balor's new name is Adam Cole. Because every time Cole's
Yeah.
called out, Finn decides to be like, me? Uh, and I mean, I
But he
love
knows how
Finn.
to get Cole, and he doesn't get Cole, but he knows how to get Cole.
Yeah, but he
Uh,
challenges him next week for the title, which is really neat. And then I really like he turns to Roderick Strong, tells him he won't be a leader, he'll always be a follower.
exactly.
They tussle and the refs break it up, and then we get
The way
this.
in
The way
therapy.
it, okay, where do I know the therapist from? Can you please help me out here? Like, is she an actress? Like just in some kind of movie? I saw her and I'm like, I fucking know you. Who the fuck are you? Like,
I'll just quickly try to find it.
like I didn't look it up because I didn't care enough afterwards,
Me
but we're on the
either, but
podcast.
I don't see anything in immediately on her. Yeah, no,
Like,
unfortunately I can't find anything.
I just, yeah, there's no, and I missed her name. if it was her
They never
actual
said it.
name. It was on a nameplate.
Oh, they put her up on a nameplate?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
Um,
I'll try to check.
but anyways, moving on. Not that big of a deal. They go to therapy.
No, exactly.
For Austin, specifically Austin. Even though Indy is every time something is said, she has the hots for Dexter Loomis.
The
Um,
Hots? That's an understatement.
Kind of how like Lana was in Pitch Perfect bugged me for the longest time on where I saw her before. Yeah, that's an interesting note that she's in Pitch Perfect. I think it's Pitch Perfect 2 actually. In the final battle of all the
News
acapella
to
groups.
me.
You didn't know Lana was in Pitch Perfect? Yeah, Pitch Perfect 2.
No, that's neat. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to look into that now.
Yeah, cuz that's the one where it's the big festival and it's all the acapella groups from around the world, right? Or something
Yeah, it
like that.
is.
Yeah,
That's I think three.
CJ Perry is in Pitch Perfect too.
I
Um,
I didn't.
yep, that is the one. Okay, yes, thank you, Entertainment Nerd. They are saying that it is in fact the
Okay,
second one.
I couldn't
Um,
really remember that. Well,
I think if you
wow,
just
my
search it up on
mind is
YouTube.
blown. My
Um,
mind is absolutely blown.
anyways, yeah, Indy's got the hots, but this is mainly for Austin Theory, this therapy. Johnny
Austin
Gargano.
Theory's therapy
Yeah,
session.
yeah, I just um Johnny Gargano ends up getting kicked out, and we get the like to be continued, and I'm like,
Hmm.
okay. Um, I'm sorry. Is it terrible that when I see Cameron Grimes pop up on my screen, I automatically don't want to see the segment?
Kiss my grits.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. He's sitting there, and I don't even know.
Just yelling at them, but he wants to change the name from the CWC to the CGA. No,
No,
I'm not. You don't even need like. He wants to name it the Cameron Grimes Auditorium.
no,
No.
no. Anyways, Regal comes in. He's like, may have a lawsuit. You hit a fucking guy. Like, so, to settle this, even though we might have a lawsuit, like, you're just gonna be in a match. You're gonna be against Bronson Reed. And it's like,
And
okay.
we'll talk about that match because
Do we have people in parking lots making matches now? Like, I won't sue you as long as Cameron Grimes goes up against that Bronson Reed fellow.
yeah,
What the
but
fuck?
yeah,
Anyways,
yeah,
up next we get Aaliyah alongside Robert Stone and Jesse Kamea against Ember Moon with Shotzi Blackheart. Um, really good match. I recently just rewatched WWE Breaking Ground on the WWE Network, not sponsored, soon to be Peacock. Um, but
not sponsored there either.
no, would love to be though. Just letting you know where to catch wrestling. We're wrestling
Yeah,
fans. We are working for you. Uh, Aaliyah, really great to see her. I originally found out about her, and I'm talking about this because of us talking about her on NXT. Originally learned about her from the Breaking Ground series from about 5-6 years ago.
yeah,
And I just rewatched it again about 2 weeks ago, and so seeing her on TV, it was like, oh yeah, like it's really neat to see like she actually got somewhere with it and that. And the
yeah.
match was pretty good. Um,
Wasn't bad. Yeah,
my only note on it was the finish, the Eclipse. Aaliyah sold it really fucking good. It actually made it look like a really good strong move where sometimes it doesn't. Even though it's an awesome move, it doesn't always
depending on who's selling it. Yeah,
yeah, it doesn't always feel like it should. She sold it really great. Ember Moon picked up the win. Um we have Ciampa and Thatcher backstage with an interview. Um
yeah. And they just say like Thatcher's past with Imperium is that it's in the past.
Yeah, and see when that was said, I was like, oh, but it was such a little thing that I never thought to look more into it. We get obviously just the backstage training things we're used to before title matches
Yeah,
with the two teams of the women's title match. which we then get into next. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. I think I've got to preface that now from what we stated on our news earlier. The match is, in my opinion, going absolutely fantastic.
I just actually before we go on to the match, why does Shayna Baszler not have side plates?
I've got no answer for you. I've given up all hope. I mean, the way they got out of doing something for The Miz, even though we only held it for the week, was turning the normal ones upside down. They were like, it's The Miz. He was the transition champion, and he had money in the bank, but they chose to put it on him because they knew they could get away with just turning the side plates upside down and being like, he's champ for a week.
Yeah.
He
but
can
there's
talk
literally nothing
and...
special about Shayna's.
No.
And it's not like she doesn't have them. She does have NXT versions that they could blow up really easily, and I know they would not take very long. She's been champion for at least 3 weeks.
Yeah, and they held them before, didn't they? For a while.
Yes, they've held. Yeah. So how does she not have side plates?
I don't know. Anyways, the match itself is really, really good until this one point. Raquel actually takes out the referee, and she had tagged Dakota Kai to be legal,
and the ref noticed it.
Raquel accidentally took out the ref while taking out Nia Jax. They went out over the table as Shayna had Kai in a Karabuta clutch. And here's Adam Pearce, WWE official.
Adam fucking Pearce, I've decided to dub him.
WWE official, sending out a Monday Night Raw ref who does not give a shit who's legal. He was standing back there watching the monitor, but Shayna Baszler locks in the Karabuta clutch again. Dakota Kai passes out, and Shayna and Nia retain their championships.
Yep. Moving on.
So, I have on here. This is
trash. Yes. Thank you.
I actually, since we didn't do our normal podcast for this that we normally do, I actually watched NXT on Thursday. So I didn't watch it live. I had paused it a few times going through it, just watching it casually through the day. Yeah. This match finished, and I was taking my notes. I paused it. I wrote, "This is fucking bullshit. This is main roster booking, and keep it there for fuck's sakes." This is actually in my notes in all capitals. And I got up and walked away from this show for about 4.5 hours. I did not want to come back to this show because I was like, you just had what could have been match of the night, match of the fucking week, like something great.
Yeah.
And you guys fucked it.
Yeah.
Like, completely fucked it.
It was horrible. Like,
then
we can get back to therapy, which is what we all needed.
So
after that,
I mentioned it in the first part of this one. Indy Hartwell is like getting like sexually frustrated with Dexter Lumis.
Yeah, like she'll be like, somebody's like, "Oh, well, who would want to be friends with him?" And she goes, "I'll be friends with benefits." It's like, okay.
I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
And she ends up, Candice LeRae is getting texts from Johnny outside the door, telling her what to say. She's fucking it up. And we end up getting everybody kicked out, except for Austin Theory. And so obviously we know we're going to get to the bottom of this.
Yep. And when the therapist goes and she's like, "Now what happened?" And he just looks horrified.
Yeah. Yep. We get LA Knight walking backstage towards the ring, and a very, very interesting very, very interesting note before I mention what was just put in Twitch chat. Very interesting note about this, which I don't know if you noticed or not. Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf are talking behind LA Knight. They're in a room behind talking. Well, remember
Yeah.
history there. They just had the interaction last week. This is where I like NXT for stuff like this, is they put that in there for the people who are paying attention.
Hmm.
Like, that was not just a coincidence. That was put there specifically for somebody like myself to look at and go, those clever motherfuckers.
Yeah, exactly.
So I like that, but yeah, I just see Samuel Shaw, creepy bastard, miss that character. So here's the thing. I saw only a little bit of the Samuel Shaw character, and
Yeah.
I didn't even realize when I found out about Dexter Loomis at the start of this year, because I wasn't into NXT recently. Used to be, we've talked about it in the past. I fell out of it for a very, very long time. I did not know. I totally had forgot about Samuel Shaw. I saw this guy, and it took me looking up on his like WrestlePedia and stuff for me to go, son of a bitch, this is fucking Sam Shaw.
Yeah. No, I immediately knew that. It's the same with Gunner and Riker. They're the same person.
Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Okay, we talked about minds being blown tonight. Holy shit.
Yeah, Jackson Riker. That yeah.
I did I didn't fucking know that. I kid you not. Holy shit. Okay. Um
Just to point that out, that's there's about 4 NXT guys. Robert Stone is one of them,
yes,
who
I
are
knew
former
him.
Impact guys.
Yes, I knew him. Um anyways though,
Trevor Lee.
Trevor Lee, who is I'm sitting here like I know it.
I remember the name. I do have to look it up quickly. That's Cameron Grimes.
Cameron Grimes. Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
is Cameron
thank
Grimes.
you.
I just forget his ring name.
Yeah, I blanked on that. Yes, thank you. Um
Trained by Matt and Jeff Hardy.
wow. But yeah, so yeah, we have LA Knight walk into the ring next, and then you know, it's not.
We didn't watch Impact very often. We like since we started this podcast, we both just got back into NXT and Impact pretty
Yeah,
much.
I
So
watched, as I like to
forgive us for
say,
that.
yeah, I watched 05, 06 ish up till about 2011, and then it
Hmm.
was very sporadic. It was on and off all the time, and they went through some talent really quick at times that were really
Yeah.
big, but I missed the whole 8 months they were a thing.
Yeah, exactly. So when you said Trevor Lee, I was like, I know that
I'm like,
name, but I could not
I've
place the
heard it,
face.
but I got nothing for you.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, he was very fantastic from what I remember as Trevor Lee.
yeah, but yeah. So, anyways, we get a promo video from Isaiah Swerve Scott about Leon Ruff. I got nothing to say about it.
TLDR, he doesn't care, neither do I.
Nope. You want to talk about the LA Knight promo?
I really liked the music he had.
Yep. I think the overall product is so much better than it has been in the past. You chose a good time to get back into Impact. Well, I honestly hope so. We were really enjoying it at the beginning. The past
Hmm.
2-3 weeks have been a slump, in my opinion,
A
from
little
what
bit,
we've
yeah.
seen from the beginning of the year. But the thing is, the worst part is they all do it. WWE gets a big slump, post Mania for a while. Um, AEW has, even in their short history, they've had a bit of a slump between pay-per-views at some point, where I still watch the product, but you sit there for a few weeks and you're like, is this really the best product you could have put on? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Some of the things were very hit or miss.
exactly. So I honestly hope this is a good time to get back into Impact. So but yeah, so LA Knight, yeah, promo.
Yeah.
Anything?
Um, I loved the comparison to Brady because when he first started it, I was like, eh. And then when he actually did the don't call him the GOAT. I'm not the GOAT. Uh I'm LA Knight. That one was really good. But The one that stuck the best with me was his point of, like Brady, I wasn't the first overall draft pick, but
Yeah.
I will be the best.
Yep.
Like, that's something where when you look at that, that promo in the future is going to be something that when he wins his first world title, they'll point to that promo and be like, see?
That promo is the star making promo.
Yeah,
Um like
very
it's
much
it's
so.
setting him up uh it's setting him up big time. Just with the words. It
Yeah,
it 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 was meant to set him up to be like, we're not going to shove him here, but give us 12 months. Like they
yeah,
do it with a lot of people to bring him in, and it'll be like, you got like within the year you're in that spot because we know you can be. If that makes sense.
no,
Um
very true.
but we have Bronson Reed come out, kind of interrupts a little bit. Cameron Grimes comes out. We have this match, which I just um
Yeah.
we end.
The only assumption I could have here is that with the way the finish goes, when Knight goes to the back as Reed is doing his entrance, Grimes pays off Knight.
So I was kind of thinking the same thing. I
That's
was in
where I
fact.
went.
um yeah, we have LA Knight come out and cost Bronson Reed, which was interesting. Cuz I'm
Mhm.
also like, bro, you just came in, you're really going to pick a fight with that bear?
I
Like,
mean,
okay.
poke the biggest bear, why don't you?
But I don't think he has to. Like he's established, like most people will know him.
But the
Like
thing is Reed has been kind of been one of those like soft pushes where he's built strong, but at the same time he can lose when he needs to. So I feel like that's kind of a safe build. I hate to say this, I'm worried Bronson Reed is going to become like the Cassius Ono, where he's the your first feud, you come in, you beat him, and then you move on.
he will be though.
Yeah,
He will get the incredible Chris Hero turned into Cassius Ono role, where he should have been so much fucking more.
oh
Um.
no,
Oh
oh
yeah.
no.
Oh no. But yeah. So Grimes picks up the win. We have Regal and Pierce talking backstage, which we know the outcome of that already.
Adam
Um.
fucking Pierce.
um Interview with Kaden Carter. She talks about Casey's leg injury and that, and basically the short of it is she challenges Zaya next week, which
Do you want to go back to therapy now?
um well, it's interesting to note here, okay? We get a recap of Karrion Kross and
Hmm.
Santos Escobar from last week, and then we go to therapy.
Yes.
Which I loved this. Excuse me, the therapist informing Austin Theory that she spoke with Dexter Loomis earlier in the
Yeah.
day. And Austin Theory makes the comment of, "What do you mean Loomis doesn't talk?" And she goes, "Oh, but on the contrary, I couldn't get him to stop talking." And she just basically she tells Theory that Loomis could not wait to get rid of him.
And you kind of feel bad for Theory at this point.
Like, I'm sitting there and she goes through with just basically saying he's like egotistical and this and that, playing into his character, which is great. And he fucking runs out of there crying. And Johnny Gargano comes
Into the
in.
arms of Gargano.
Yeah. Johnny comes in, sends him off. He's yelling about, like, you broke him, this and that. And then,
Okay. The wording that Gargano says here is very particular to me. He says, that's great improv to the therapist. To me, I think he thinks this was a ploy but in fact it wasn't.
See, that's just it. I'm not sure. And he almost like pays her off to be like, thanks for doing that.
But I feel like that was just the payment for therapy session. Because she goes idiots afterwards and counts it. Like,
Oh,
that's
potentially.
so I'm just like, I don't know. Like,
But like we
I don't know.
still don't even fully know what the fuck happened when Loomis kidnapped Theory. Like the
He was in a boarded room eating cereal and watching cartoons.
but he was on vacation. I don't know. Anyways,
It's a pretty good vacation, honestly.
so remember that recap we got from last week? Yeah, well, it pays off now. Everrise are in the ring. Breezango will come to the ring, ready for their match.
Okay, I didn't know that was Breezango coming to the ring.
The only reason I knew is because I saw their return in the space stuff. So the second I saw it, I was like, oh, Breezango. That's the only reason, I will be honest.
I see the two space guys coming out. I'm like,
who the fuck? And Legado del Fantasma attacks them. Everrise slips out of the ring. They're backing off. Like, never mind. And Santos comes in, takes him out. Gets in the ring, grabs the mic. I actually forget what this promo was about.
Didn't we watch him die last week?
Yeah. Okay. He's fine now. Long-term selling isn't a thing anymore for them.
Pretty much, yeah. Says basically TLDR, don't confuse last week with weakness, or what he did to Breezango and all them is what awaits you. Okay, go ahead and say that to Cross again. Like,
I don't know. Is that all you have for that segment?
Where's his title?
Fuck the title.
I mean, I get it, he's the interim champion, but where's his title?
Yes. Regal backstage is asked about everything with Pierce, and Regal makes the announcement that there will be something next week that will change the landscape of NXT, which is the shoddiest way that they could have gotten out of what happened. And we move on to the main event. Finn Balor versus Roderick Strong.
Those two names alone are reason enough to go watch the match.
Good match. Balor picks up the win. Adam Cole comes out. We end the show. There was a confrontation after the show on social media. I didn't watch it, but I know what happened.
Doesn't codify. It's not a part of the show.
Yeah, but so running through, once again, ratings out of 5. What did you give NXT this week?
I gave it a 3.25.
Okay.
Like, it was good. I really enjoyed it.
I gave it a 2.75 out of 5. Kind of being a little harsh, I guess. By the way, before we forget, we do our Twitter polls as well. We always seem to forget them for some reason. So Impact Wrestling, as voted on, 3 categories: good show, wasted time, sitting on the fence. 57.1% of voters thought it was an absolutely great show, Impact Wrestling, and 42.9% sitting on the fence. 0% saying it was a bad show. Everybody figured it was there, it was okay, basically. And then just covering NXT, 66.7% saying it's a great show, 33.3% saying it's a waste of time. Nobody's sitting on the fence. So obviously the larger portion thought it was a good show, but there was still a handful to be like, that was kind of just there.
Yeah.
Which it did at some points feel that way.
For sure.
So, match of the night.
Balor and Strong.
Okay. I gave it to the opening tag match, actually.
I almost did, but I just liked the Balor Strong match. I
didn't have a whole lot of interest in the match, obviously now, especially with the Imperium stuff, I was really lost with that until now.
Yeah.
The match was just so hard hitting. There's something about Thatcher and Ciampa. I'm a very big Tommaso Ciampa fan. But just they do pair really well together.
Yes.
So I thought it was a really good match. segment of the night.
The way goes to therapy.
Yes, I agree. I agree. It's what that group needed. They needed a little, like, not to say they haven't had comedy, but they needed a really big comedy break in the gimmick for a week and then bring them back and keep making Johnny feel like something actually important. You know, I
Yes.
think it worked really well personally.
Yeah.
Um performers of the night.
Balor, Strong, and LA Knight.
Totally reasonable. Um I gave it to the 4 women of the tag title match. Because
Okay,
the
yeah.
thing is, the booking wasn't their fault,
No.
but the part that I liked about it the most is Shayna and Nia come out on Raw and SmackDown, and I go, ugh, and I don't care. They came out on NXT, and I was like, let's do this. Like, this is NXT. And I mean, Kai and Gonzalez. And so we got NXT Shayna. With build, we got a much better Nia Jax than we've seen in previous weeks. The storytelling really worked, and they did great at making me care about the match and thinking they did good. And
We'll
then
talk more about them later as
the
well.
the booking killed it. So, but that's not on them. I thought they did
No.
fantastic. Um, and then favorite segment, as always stated, worst of the night.
The finish to the women's title match.
Same. Same. That's the thing. That's the thing. I'm like, I give them performer of the night, but the absolute worst of the night is, and my specific quote on here is the main roster style booking of the finish of the women's tag title match.
Yep.
Because that's what it was. That wasn't an NXT finish.
No, it
It
was
was
not.
not. Worst of the night, Adam Pearce. You know what? You're dead fucking right. You say
Yeah,
LLJK, you are dead fucking right. The absolute worst of the night was Adam Pearce. There was
that
no
was very
fucking
true.
reason. It was bullshit. It fucking sucked.
It didn't need to happen. As soon as I saw him on the ramp, I was like, no.
Yeah, I saw him and I was like, there goes everything good about
My
this.
hero.
But yeah, moving on. Moving on. AEW Dynamite. So this was announced earlier in the day that it was opening the show, and I didn't see it. I saw it when Dynamite started. I was watching Dynamite live, and I sat there and went, hold the fuck up. They're
Yeah.
opening with Cody Rhodes in Red Velvet versus Jade Cargill and Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, sure. I thought we were getting a semi-main event spot for this match,
No,
and
sir.
it opened the show. Okay. So we got to take a moment here because we have had build up. If you are new to the podcast at all, um, I've never seen an episode of Dynamite before. Hopefully your review sells it. Okay,
We will try.
we will try because the thing is, we make a very good point on this podcast to mention a lot of the time. We do watch all wrestling. We actually literally our Friday night cast from last week, we went on a very passionate rant about our legitimate love of pro wrestling, and we really want to be good. We watch all of it. The thing is,
Yeah.
we talk about dips and curves and this and that in pro wrestling, and right now I have found myself very heavily into Dynamite. But
Mhm.
WWE brought me into it. I've watched absolutely everything. I've watched across the world. I love this stuff. And so if I'm kissing AEW's ass, it's because they're doing it right now. But
Exactly.
for the past few weeks, I have been very, very skeptical. You can go back and listen of Shaq on Dynamite. I have been. I and I said,
Give the benefit of the doubt.
yeah, I have said if Shaq impresses me, I did not expect him to be Kenny Omega. I didn't expect him to be Cody Rhodes. I didn't expect him to be Pretty Peter Avalon. But
Right.
he needed to be something. And you know what?
He needed to at least move better than Kali.
Shaquille O'Neal, I sincerely apologize that I did not have faith in your ability. I 110% applaud what you did in the ring. I do.
100%.
Um, your chops, I actually, when you first went for it, I was like, and you hit it, and I sat there and went, oh fuck, I love the cockiness in the ring of you being like, I'm coming into your sport, and I'm, you know, uh, like
Oh,
I'm doing better than you. I saw it. And then he did the tribute to Brody Lee, which to me, um, I think sold me completely along with the ending. I sat there and went, okay, this guy, he is just pretty well this one time celebrity crossover endorsement thing, but he at least cared enough at some point, whether he is an active fan, watches on and off, whatever Shaq is to pro wrestling, because he's found himself around it a lot, doing a Brody Lee tribute after everything. Um, was really nice, really good powerbomb. And then the finish of him going through the tables, he went through tables, big drop. I mean, if you have ever been in a wrestling ring, as I have been up on that apron,
mhm.
and I'm not even 6 foot. I'm about an inch short of being 6 foot. I couldn't imagine being a 7'1" dude, having never wrestled before, taking that fall through tables. And Shaq pulled it off. I liked at the end the little, like, they caught the back pat. But to me, I was like, I like those little things. I know a lot of people will be like,
Yeah.
fucking breaking kayfabe, something like that, because we know what this match is. I was like, you know what?
Well,
Cool.
and you could also see Cody whispering in his ear, probably saying like, "Dude, that went perfectly."
Yeah.
Like,
And I mean, Shaq taking a chair shot and just killing a few people at ringside. Like, it worked out. And then Red Velvet and Jade Cargill both looked good.
yes, that was the one thing we stated from the get-go. If the two new stars in this match do not come out looking like stars, this match fails.
And they fucking did good. They made Jade look really, really good. They gave Red Velvet a fantastic showing that I'm sure will be in the mid card shuffle and work the way up in probably the next 12 months to a semi decent feud. Like,
Right. So we've now talked about the match. Can we talk about what happened after the match?
so they load Shaq into an ambulance. I love how he's so fucking tall. The motherfucker has to bend his knees for them to close the ambulance.
Yeah.
And then I think I don't know what's going
Shivani.
on. So we come back from commercial and we're told we see him getting loaded in, and then we see Tony Schiavone at the ambulance, and he's like they got him loaded into the ambulance, but I gotta get a word from somebody, and he opens the door, and all the motherfuckers are gone, and Schiavone
There's like a paramedic in there, like just like cleaning up or something.
literally turns to the camera and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I'm like, I'm honestly at this point, I'm like, I don't know, because the thing is, this isn't going unexplained. Yes,
Yes.
the question marks are very. It's
Yeah.
weird. We come back from commercial. Okay, just to kind of explain it, if we didn't explain it great, we come back from commercial, and JR and Excalibur are saying Shaq during commercial break got loaded onto a gurney and into a stretcher, and we get a moments ago, and we get the footage of him getting loaded up in, and then we cut to live, and Tony Schiavone's at the ambulance. He opens it up, and there's nobody there, and Schiavone literally turns back to the camera like, I don't know what's going on. And the best part is JR and Excalibur, they're gonna build on it in coming weeks. JR and Excalibur are even like, where's Shaq?
Yeah. So
So is
like
this not the last we're seeing of Shaq? Like,
I'm
is he
okay with
is
that.
he doing more? Like,
My
I
brain
don't
just
know.
clicked a few things together.
What?
Hall of Fame that doesn't necessarily mean the wrestling Hall of Fame.
Tony Khan has gone out on record saying the person signing is one of his all-time favorite professional wrestlers.
Okay, good. I didn't hear that.
Yes. Yes, just stating it's not gonna be Shaquille O'Neal. Holy fuck. Um, the we don't know if it was a refusal of medical treatment.
The
The
way
thing is, when
they,
when
yeah.
Shivani got there, he opened it up and he was gone, and so it could have potentially been, and like there was nothing said, but it just seemed like he vanished, is what happened.
So it seems like what AEW is doing is Shaq has supernatural powers. Yeah.
It seemed really weird. This is the weirdest part of this show, in my opinion. It
Yes.
felt odd. The rest of the show was great. This just felt fucked. And I
Yeah,
was
it just
like,
felt weird, but it's gonna be told upon further, and
yeah,
hopefully it'll be
something
good.
weird's gonna happen. Paul White is a wizard, and he
You're a wizard, Harry.
Oh my god. Anyways, up next we get Pac and Ray Phoenix. Absolutely love these guys. Versus John Schuyler, and I think the other guy's name was D3. That I
That's what the name I heard. Yeah,
um
apparently he really likes the Mighty Ducks movie, the third one, D3.
okay. So this was just very much enhancement, make Pac and Phoenix look good, and they did. They looked really good.
My question is, why did we need it?
Because I believe they are entering into the tag team battle royale.
Okay.
On Sunday.
It felt kind of pointless, but yeah.
That is the only reason why it made sense, was to make them feel like they were something worthwhile going into it if they were in it. Then we get the Inner Circle press conference, which is great. I'm actually loving, because I wasn't sure what we were going to get, and then when I saw the format we were getting, I'm like, I'm loving these Inner Circle bits of, because I'm like, the second I saw the stand, I'm like, we're getting Bischoff's
Yeah.
here, which I love. It's a cool little thing, especially right before the pay-per-view. So first off, we get, I think it was somebody from Barstool Sports.
They all said their name, but his mic cut out
His mic
right at the
wasn't
start of
fully
his
in.
question.
Yeah. And basically through all of these, basically all that happens is Jericho and MJF shit on the people asking the questions, and they give half-assed answers, just like, we're gonna win, and shit like that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to run through who is here, though, unless you have a specific note about the question and answer for each one.
No. Not
Okay,
really.
so we have the Barstool Sports. We have Conrad Thompson, for anybody who is not aware of who Conrad is. Ton of the wrestling podcast you probably listen to, concerning legends like JR, I believe Shivani, Bruce Pritchard had one. He has set up a lot of stuff. He was very big in setting up the Starcast stuff. Yeah, something to wrestle with. Thank you. It was cool to see him there, knowing his involvement with all of it. And there was actually a funny tweet put out that somebody was like, I'm surprised there wasn't an ad read between Conrad's question and his answer, because of him being a major part of these podcasts and the way that podcasts are normally formatted. That was funny. Another one from Barstool Sports, and then we got the Eric Bischoff. Loved it. Loved Bischoff.
Yes. Eric B, as they were kind of calling him.
Yeah, trying to be professional about it. We have the Young
Yeah.
Bucks come out. The Young Bucks cut an absolutely passionate promo about Papa Buck and the kind of man he was in that.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically say, without Papa Buck, AEW doesn't exist. They're trying to be humble about it, because that's who they are, but it was very much a matter of, you realize, like, if we weren't here, this, like, 90% of this, and it's the truth of the matter, 90% of that company is because of the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks are the absolute foundation for what AEW is built upon. No disrespect to anybody else.
No.
They were the absolute foundation, but they were saying it in the humblest way possible, to be like, it's kind of about us, but like, without Papa Buck. And they say to MJF, like, if without AEW, you'd be, living at home on your parents' couch, waiting for a call from, what was it, the Rosie O'Donnell show when she
Yeah,
was on when he was a kid. And my favorite fucking line I've heard in weeks, I don't care about these shots. This was perfect because it
it's
made me
great.
give a shit again. They turned to Chris Jericho and go, Chris, without AEW, you know what you'd probably be doing tonight? You'd probably be jerking the curtain at the Performance Center. And I
Yep.
stopped and I went, oh, fuck. If AEW didn't exist, Jericho would still be signed with them and he'd probably be producing for NXT by this point. I 100% believe it.
Yeah. They
Because
would have
that's what
told
they
him
would
he
have done.
couldn't go anymore.
And they super kick Jericho and Moxley. Cutler comes out. Everybody's brawling. And here come the fucking Good Brothers with some tables. Like, sure, we're here to help. They set a table up on the stage, table up down on the floor. Proud and Powerful are put up, and then we get, I believe it's a senton swanton off the set through the one table, and then I think, is it Matt Jackson who leaps off the stage? Or is it Nick?
Matt leaps off the stage. Nick leaps off the tunnel.
Yeah. So Matt flies off through the other table, and I was just like, good shit, cool. Do you have a note or something?
The comment.
Oh,
So I think this is true. That is true. I don't think Jericho can go anymore. Well, I get what you're saying.
I will respectfully disagree.
Yes.
Due to the fact of the pace he's going is perfect, and he has shown. Not every match, we go back a long time ago, not even that long ago, like let's say 10 years ago, every Jericho match was an absolutely fantastic match. Okay?
Yeah.
Nowadays, not every match is one, to pin there and behold, but he is still giving what's needed. And the best part about Chris Jericho right now, he might not be that same Chris Jericho from 10 years ago, but what makes him better than almost anybody, and I mean it wholeheartedly, what makes him better than almost any wrestler his age is he has enough knowledge to go, my time here isn't, I'm not here much longer. I'm still going to be the star, but I'm going to set up all these young and up and coming guys to be the next generation, which I'm sorry.
Yes.
A lot of the guys his age and older that are in that position, it doesn't work.
It's very true. And like I totally see where you're coming from. Looking at some of the matches today versus some of his matches back in the day, they aren't comparable. But the thing is, you almost can't compare Y2J to the Demo God, the
No,
what
you can't.
they
You
are
can't.
entirely different wrestlers. Like
Here's the thing. We get into something later, actually literally almost up next, which I will make a very good point about. I'll pull it in now. Tully Blanchard has been retired for 30 years. Okay.
32,
Okay.
they specified.
He only did a little bit in the upcoming match that we're going to talk about. But the thing is, that'd be like comparing Tully 30 years ago to Tully now.
Yeah.
Sure, Jericho's got a shorter span in between. But, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, a gimmick changes the wrestler.
Yeah.
Entirely.
It's like trying to compare Doctor of Thugonomics Cena to the Cena we have right now.
Yeah. See, the thing is, Jericho, if Cena were to come back and work a full-time schedule and work everything, Jericho could do just as Cena does.
Mm-hmm.
If Jericho needed to. But Jericho picks his spots. Not all, like I said, not all of them are great. Sometimes you look at it and you go, he has had some meh moments in the past little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, there are guys who do a hell of a lot worse than Jericho that people say can still go.
Mm-hmm.
when they really can't, purely because I think a lot of it, and I'm not saying specifically the comment was, but I
No,
think a lot of it is due to the fact of he's here now, and the Jericho we knew in WWE, the Jericho we watched in WWE, was a totally different Jericho than he is now.
it's very true.
It's a totally different style. He adapted his style to his age and what he was able to do. But people watch it now and go, oh, this is 40 whatever year old Chris Jericho. He
Mm-hmm.
can't go anymore. He went to them. Not saying that comment was that,
No,
but that tends to be a lot of people's feelings towards it, to a lot of
it's
the
very,
guys.
yeah. It's very, and I can totally see where they're coming from. A lot of guys do hang on to the business too long,
Yep.
but I don't see Jericho as that person. He has very much always been about building the new guys as he goes.
You could also say that is that comment there saying Jericho can't go anymore. Jericho and Dustin Rhodes are very much in the same point of their careers, very similar in how they've adapted, and I'm sorry, Dustin Rhodes can still put on an absolute fucking classic
Yeah.
if
I've
he
seen him
wanted
turn
to.
buildings against him that were literally bowing to his feet.
Literally, the from not only on the mic, because that was a direct experience we had,
Yes.
seeing him live as Goldust. In the ring, he's proven that they did that match, the Natural Nightmares versus Butcher and the Blade. um a few months ago, I don't even remember, a bunkhouse match, I think it was.
Yes.
And Dustin fucking tore it up.
Yeah.
I was going into
And
it like,
yeah,
what is Dustin gonna do? And by the end of the match, I'm going, you know what? I don't know why I ever underestimate Dustin Rhodes. And Dustin
exactly.
is in that same place as Jericho. He is.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and that's just it. So while I can 100% respect where you're coming from, I think you just need to broaden your horizon on the way you look at Jericho.
yeah, yeah, exactly. He can still go. It's just in a different way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You just need to look at him through a different lens,
yeah,
I think. And it, if you have been trying to and you still don't think it, fair enough.
yeah. The thing is, it's very much so. Can Jericho go like he did 10 years ago? No, but there's
Yeah,
not many wrestlers who 10 years ago, who currently can go as good as they did 10 years ago, like across the board. There is
exactly.
a very small handful few amount of wrestlers that you can look at who were wrestling 10 years ago and go, they still perform at like that level. There are some,
Yeah,
but
they're
even
very
from
few.
20 to 30, like for a lot of those wrestlers.
Mhm.
Like, but anyways, moving on.
To one of my favorite matches of the night, honestly.
Well, we get a preview regarding the
Oh
exploding
yes,
barbed wire
yeah, we
death
do get
match,
that.
and I want to mention something here. This worked out perfectly just before we went live, almost 2.5 hours ago. Kenny Omega tweeted out a little schematic, um, and the tweet says the rules: 3 sides of the ring ropes wrapped in barbed wire. Contact with barbed wire trigger explosives on the corresponding side. Triple hell. There are 3 zones on the floor wired to explosives, as well as a 30-minute countdown timer until all the explosives in and around the ring detonate. This exploding barbed wire death match is going to be the craziest fucking shit, and I am actually beyond pumped to watch it.
I've never thought I'd be watching a death match live on a nationally broadcasted wrestling company,
Yeah, the thing
and we
is,
are well on our way to that.
I don't like death matches. I don't. I enjoyed like the no holds barred we got from Omega and Moxley back at Full Gear 2019. But death matches I have a really hard time with, because it's like and the worst part is I know this fucking match is going to be very brutal.
Mhm.
Jim Cornette. I don't know whether you are a fan of Jim Cornette or not. We all have our own opinions. If you are, fine by me. Jim Cornette is stuck in the past. And yes, this, if anything AEW has done has ever enraged him enough to get close to a heart attack, this is going to kill Jim Cornette, this
Oh
match.
yeah, or at least give him an aneurysm.
But I don't know. I'll be interested to see what he says, but I'm probably just gonna laugh at whatever he says because
I'll
it's
be interested to
just
see
gonna be,
Meltzer's too.
yeah, Meltzer's will be neat. Um, but yeah, then we move on to a really, really surprisingly good match. We have FTR alongside Tully Blanchard, which I love. They came out with the old belts, and probably one of my favorite parts of this was fucking JJ Dillon's there.
Yeah, so I was so focused on Tully having the NWA US title that I didn't even realize FTR had the other belts.
You didn't fucking notice that?
I didn't, like,
That's
I had
funny.
to see the picture afterwards and I was like, oh, whoops.
But yeah, motherfucking JJ Dillon, man. That was
Yeah,
so cool to see. Jurassic
it was
Express
really
comes
cool.
out. Some great callbacks. JJ giving Dax his shoe at one point to use on Jungle Boy. I'm like, nice. Nice.
Yeah. And then we go for this dive to the outside, and all of a sudden, like, the cameraman's like pulled in the way, but kind of jumps in the way at the same time.
Yeah.
It looked really weird. And then, so
I think
kind of
they set it
after
up
that,
nicely to make it
yeah,
look, and so when the commentators were like, did the cameraman just get pulled in the way?
yeah,
You actually felt it a little bit. It didn't feel fully like a
yeah. But if you had looked at it the way I did, because I looked at it and I went back and quickly went to see if I saw that right, and
yeah.
it kind of looks like he gives a forearm,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay. And then we move on. So like they kind of forget about the camera guy. He's kind of hurt over on the side, and
Which was
Luchasaurus goes,
great. Which was great,
yeah,
by the way.
yeah,
Because it
absolutely,
still had me sitting there going, what the fuck was that?
yeah, exactly. And then we get Luchasaurus going for the choke slam, and as that happens, the camera guy just comes in and just
Yep.
takes him out.
Yep.
I don't even know what move he did. He just took him out.
And we end up having Luchasaurus take the spike pile driver from FTR and Tully. And interesting thing here, Tully picked up the pin, which
Yeah.
is really neat. And we come to find out that the masked person is none other than Sean Spears. Which, when that happened, I went, you fuckers. You made me, like, I didn't forget about Sean Spears, but he definitely wasn't the first person in my head.
No. No, I was sitting there, I was like, oh, who's this? And then, yeah. But the next part I loved.
Oh
So
my
we
god, I
obviously
was like, you bastards, I love this.
so we have Tully and JJ standing in the ring, and obviously we have basically what is the new Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
Now, there's another person that was in the Four Horsemen, wasn't
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Inside AEW.
Well, I was gonna say there's two, but one of them isn't with AEW, but who's the one that is with them? Oh yeah, fucking Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
And the motherfucker comes out of the tunnel, and I'm like, do it. And I just love Arn, just
And then
throws
walks
up the
away.
four and walks away. And I'm like, whoa, it's 2021, and like, I'm seeing
Yeah.
this. Like, that is a cool nostalgia thing.
When does Ric Flair's contract come up?
Well, after the interviews that Flair had saying that he doesn't talk to any of them,
I know.
I'm like, well, that's just it. I was like, God damn it. Like,
As all this is happening, it's like, we can't even get a proper reunion, can we?
yeah. But like this was a nostalgia done right. Sometimes nostalgia's not done right. This was done right. They left it at Arn throwing up the 4, and it was cool.
Yeah.
Um,
And then we get a really big moment.
yeah. Yeah, there was a big moment after this. You know, we're already having a big show here. But no more BS. Up next we have Tony Schiavone waiting, and I really like JJ Dillon kind of like starts talking to Schiavone, and he's just like, you're never gonna top that, and Schiavone's like, you're not getting paid for that.
Yeah, exactly.
And Paul White.
One point I
comes
have
out.
here. The music he comes out to
So
is what's... Did they talk about it? Somebody's talked about it?
that music has been used as a generic music, I
Yeah.
think. So I can only assume they don't have the music done, because
Right.
from what I can understand, Mikey Ruckus found out about it with the rest of us. And Mikey Ruckus is the guy who does the music. He's also been doing, I think, 3 or 4 other albums for AEW right now of themes and stuff. So I can only assume they are making sure it's right, and there was no reason to push him back.
Yeah.
And
Just for entrance music.
Just for entrance music.
The one thing I didn't like is it's the music they usually run down a card with.
Yeah, that's what I
What
mean. It
kinda
was the
bothered me.
generic. Yeah, so
Yeah.
hearing that, I was like, okay, so the theme's just not done yet. Because when he announced him, I'm sitting there like, where's the wow? I'm like, where is it? What the fuck is that? This is the fucking generic music, and I'm like,
Yeah.
son of a bitch. So,
but we basically get all the talking points that we think we're gonna get with this promo.
yeah.
And then it moves on into, well, the big scoop, as he puts it.
Yeah. Tony Schiavone's not the only one that gets big scoops around here. Paul White does as well. And he informs us that this Sunday at AEW's Evolution pay-per-view, sorry, the what pay-per-view? The Evolution, you mean Revolution, okay? That they will sign, and the way Tony Khan's hyping this up too is that the contract is being signed on Sunday. Like, not necessarily on the pay-per-view, I'm saying, but this star is not yet signed. But there will be
I don't know who it's gonna be.
A Hall of Fame worthy talent. Yeah. It has been one of Tony Khan's favorite wrestlers.
And he was a big ECW fan. Huge ECW fan.
So, I don't know. The thing is one of the things I read, which I sat there for a minute, and I'm like, this could be neat. One of the things I read was like Mick Foley, like not for in ring, but they never said anything about in ring. It was just a full-time AEW contract, which full-time does not mean full-time in ring. Could he? Like, that's a weird name. Like, that's not like an active name, but we're talking Hall of Fame worthy, which also does necessarily mean like saying they are worthy of having, like, of being in the Hall of Fame, which they already are. Like, there was no specification, as I said earlier. But I still think it would probably be Okada.
Yeah.
What's up?
Okada. Joey Styles?
Sure, Joey Styles. Why not? But anyways, moving on here. So that will be Sunday. That's about it.
We'll find that out for sure.
And up next, we have Nyla Rose being accompanied to the ring by Vicky Guerrero against Ryo Mizunami. Holy fuck!
Yeah, this was a good match.
Fuck, this was good. This is one of those times where I'm like, I can't say all of the things about the match, and you know, unless I say everything about the match, it doesn't do it justice.
And that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, Ryo Mizunami picks up the win and will face Shida this Sunday at Revolution.
Yep.
And Shida brings the trophy in, and I really like how they kind of trade blows. Shida knocks Ryo down, and there's just a moment of, okay, let's
Yep.
let's see where this goes.
Exactly.
Then we move on. Shikivo Tony Schiavone is introducing the icon Sting.
Yeah.
Sting comes out. It's really going along the same lines as the promos have been the past few weeks. And
And I
then
was annoyed at this point. I was like, do we really need Sting out for a talking point
yeah,
every time?
I was like, what the fuck? Like again? And then Ricky Starks comes out. And talks about, Sting is, still the icon and this and that, and but it ends up Starks slaps Sting across the face, and
Brave.
Sting
Brave.
just kind of is like, okay, let's fuck you
Yeah.
up.
Well, yeah, Sting takes the taste out of his mouth and everything else and literally beats Ricky out of his shoes.
Literally. Locks him in the Scorpion Deathlock, which was awesome. And here comes Powerhouse Hobbs and Hook, Taz's son. Hook gets in, tries to kind of choke Sting back. And then
Again, all very brave things to be doing.
yeah, here comes Cage in and starts setting Sting up for that power bomb like a few weeks back. And here comes Darby Allin in for the save. And we set up and keep making me excited to see Sting back in action for the first time in just over 5 years. I don't care that Sting is in his 60s. He's shown that this is another one of those instances where he doesn't need a ton of matches. Like, he doesn't need another match for a few months after this, realistically, but you pull him out when he's needed, and the best part is he's shown just in these segments that he's still going to be able to go at a level that I can respect. It's not Sting from 10, 15 years ago, but I'm going to be able to watch Sting and in 2021 and be like, son of a bitch, I'm watching Sting in 2021.
Yeah, something we thought Seth Rollins stole from us.
Yeah, pretty well.
Nothing against Seth Rollins there, it's just he was the last person to wrestle Sting.
Yeah. And then up next we have Dark Order's 10 with -1 accompanying him to the ring, which was awesome. Against Max Caster of the Acclaimed. They actually do confirm on commentary, because it's been a thing that I actually have just been curious of. I figured I knew it, but to go along with the storyline, -1 is confirmed the leader of the Dark Order, which I was like, good, I don't care. Fight me all day, every day. I will go down swinging if it comes to honoring Brody.
Yeah. If Dark Order is literally just a Brody Lee tribute act for the rest of their life, I'm fine with it.
Well, I mean, the man deserves to be remembered for as long as possible.
Yeah. AEW has an opening line. It's Wednesday. You know what that means?
Which every time I hear Jim Ross yell that line every Wednesday, that it warms this cold heart, to say the least.
It is such a nice thing because there were so many things about Brody that we wish we could still have, and we're never going to get to see them again.
Yeah,
but these little moments,
it's great.
Bring them back.
It's great, and I mean, he gave so much to the business that it's nice to see. But
he was just getting his push.
His
just
proper fucking push. Yeah. We have Scorpio Sky on commentary because this is a qualifier for the Face of the Revolution ladder match at Revolution.
Scorp's a heel? Scorp's a heel?
I guess. He sounds it.
He sounds it. So the issue here is we don't watch Dark, and a lot of development has been happening on Dark for some characters. and I feel like Scorp is one of those ones.
Yeah. I'm sitting here honestly like, do I fit Dark into my schedule somewhere now? Because I feel like I'm missing out.
I know, right?
Like, but I'm like, fuck, that's just another one of this. Like, I don't know. Fucking
That's
have to.
another 2 to 3 hours in some cases.
Hey,
Like,
man. Like I said, at this rate, let's just drop Raw and SmackDown and stick to the good shit. Fuck. Sorry,
yeah, I mean,
just
if it
being
keeps up.
honest. Just being honest. I'll still watch the YouTube clips of the segments I want to see from Raw and SmackDown, and that's about it. Go back to
Yeah,
what I was
exactly.
doing late last year. But anyways, pretty good match. Jack Evans comes out of nowhere, hits 10 with the boombox, I guess. And Max Caster gets the win, which I was surprised. I was like, wow. And then
Oh, sad.
finding out after, because I had said it last week, I figured 10 was picking up the win because we were getting the Acclaimed in the tag match. And then when it came out about Anthony Bowens being injured, I was like, this makes complete sense. And then 10 and 5, I think, were entered into the Battle Royal today anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Uh, and then we get Miro talking to Charles Xavier, but like Charles Xavier. Jesus.
okay.
Charles Taylor.
Wow. That was a meeting
Wow,
of
my
worlds there.
brain.
Yeah, anyways,
um
Charles.
uh basically he's gonna give the people what they want, and that's destruction. And then he goes on to speak in Bulgarian.
I would assume so.
And then just says game over.
Yeah. Um, so I had read a thing about the kind of crappy build to this. Apparently the reason he hasn't really had much to do, they filmed a lot of the bits we've seen, um, previous weeks, and
Oh,
oh, are you good? Oh, you might be frozen on the video here. Oops. You still there? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, technical issue.
right.
Hello? You all good? Blake.
Hello. Yes. Yeah, you kind
Okay.
of went robotic there for me.
Okay, that was
I
fucking
apologize
fantastic.
there.
Anyways, so apparently Miro was stuck at home due to the weather incidents in the states what was that, last week?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So the reason we haven't really had much build up is because he wasn't able to get to Jacksonville. So they had the promo bits and that already filmed out. Uh, probably the week of the wedding and that. And then they weren't able to get him out to tapings. So that's
Oh,
why
well.
we've had like no build to this, but they need the payoff because the payoff was supposed to be Revolution, right?
Hmm.
Which was upsetting, but there's nothing they can do about that. Like
No, exactly.
Tony Khan can buy a lot of stuff with his money, but I don't think he can pay the
God is a
weather to
difficult
stop.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mother Nature takes a very large check.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I was surprised this was the main event, especially going into the pay-per-view, which I
Right.
have a comment to make after this, about it. Because it felt weird being the main event because we didn't get any world title stuff. But like I said, I'll make a comment here in a minute. We get Matt Hardy and Mark Quinn versus Adam Page, John Silver. Adam Page's nameplate had a URL, AdamPageWrestling.com. If you go to it, you get, I think it's 10 hours of relaxing music on YouTube, and the video is a horse, who he claims apparently to be Hunter Horse Helmsley. Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
I found all this. I saw it pop up and I'm like, I gotta go to
Yeah.
AdamPageWrestling.com. And yeah, I saw it and I laughed. Um,
Yeah. That's always good.
but match is pretty fucking decent.
Yeah.
Um, Overall we get Page picking up the win over Mark Quinn with a buckshot lariat. That's what it's called. Matt comes in, starts taking out John Silver, Adam Page with a microphone. The Dark Order comes out to basically make the save, I guess.
Yeah, so we get like -1 is just like, get in there, like
come on.
Yeah, like,
which an interesting point of note to make. We didn't mention it previously. Jack Evans hitting 10 with the boombox. Matt Hardy paid off Jack Evans because he promised Adam Page he would hurt every member of the Dark Order. So, but anyways, all the tag teams basically comprising the Battle Royal this Sunday spill out into the ring, and just an absolute fucking brawl breaks out.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, and we close the show. Now an interesting note, like I said, there was no world title stuff. Here's the thing, though. The Countdown to Revolution normally airs on Fight or on their YouTube. It was airing on TNT after Dynamite. So I totally see the build-up. Sounds stupid to be like, why would you put it on Dynamite? But the thing is, the Countdown aired on TNT afterwards.
Yeah.
Meaning that audience probably stuck around and got an extra hour of wrestling.
Yeah.
And the worst case scenario, if you didn't catch it, it's probably only a half hour long, maybe an hour long. You can probably find it on Fight TV for free to watch before the pay-per-view Sunday, which is probably what I will do. Actually, it usually airs, they air the important parts of it, usually from 7 to 7:30. The buy-ins from 7:30 to 8, and then we have the main card. That's what normally happens on Fight, which is where I watch it.
Exactly.
But anyways, Dynamite, what did you give rating out of 5?
3.75.
Yeah, I did think it was quite solid for a go home show for the pay-per-view. I gave it a 3.25 prior to realizing about the countdown.
Okay.
So with the knowledge of the countdown, I'd probably give it a little higher, but it's here. I'll leave it at that. Because, you know, let's say what happened on the show prior to take away the fact that they did that. It's 3.25, which is still generous. To the show. Match of the night.
Mizunami versus Rose.
Same. Holy fuck.
That was just such a good match.
Yeah, and I mean, and this is no disrespect to Nyla Rose. If you would have told me a year ago that I'd be doing this podcast and I'd be giving Nyla Rose my match of the night, I'd probably laugh at you. You know, not to take anything away from Nyla Rose, but at the time I would have been that would have been like me giving match of the night to Britt Baker.
Exactly.
But now I'm sitting here like, you know what?
They're very realistic.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Fucking right.
These competitors have gone from green to experienced.
Yeah. Really well. Like,
As far as segment of the night, what did you pick?
So I gave it to two kind of different things. I cheated a little bit, and I gave it to the pay-per-view build-up segments, so like Sting stuff. We had the Inner Circle stuff, as well as like into the ladder matches, stuff like that. I gave it across the board there because it was a really solid build to make me care about this. It felt weird being the go home show, but it made me feel about a lot of the, I don't want to sound like an ass, but the undercard stuff. Instead of the stuff we've been promoted for weeks. But the other thing I gotta give it also to Shaq's match. I'm not gonna give it match of the night because Nyla Rose and Ryo Mizunami did better. But the fact that Shaq actually had a half decent showing, which I still can't believe I'm saying those words. Shaq had a half decent showing on Dynamite. I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
What did you give?
I give it to Paul White, saying there's going to be the big announcement, the big signing.
It's got me excited. And the best part is that's not the only surprise of the night. The fucking other entrant in the ladder match is a surprise.
Well, they could be one and the same.
They are not. Tony
Okay.
Khan has said that as well.
Okay.
That they are two
Well,
completely different things.
I didn't see that.
Yes. Performer of the night.
Ryo Mizunami.
So I gave it to 6 different people. Here,
Sure.
because I'm cheating across the board, I gave it to both Ryo Mizunami and Nyla Rose because I was like, yes, 100%. And I gave it to the 4 in the opening contest: Cody Rhodes, Red Velvet, Jade Cargill, and Shaq.
Yeah,
Great first
fair
showing
enough.
from Jade. Great showing from Red Velvet. Shaq looked great, and Cody made him look great.
Yeah.
So, and I'm giving it there too because, like I said, I would eat my fucking words if Shaq turned out to do something decent. So I'll fucking eat my words and give Shaq part of Performer of the Night. Fuck.
Yeah.
Can't
There
believe
you
I'm
go.
saying that. Can't believe I'm saying that.
Do you want to move on to your favorite segment? Even though it's kind of hard to do with like NXT and Dynamite.
Yes. Now I gave it here because I still like I gave it a bit of a pass, a little, but I gotta put it as the worst of this show. Had to be the fact that we didn't have anything for the world title. Sure, it was on the countdown afterwards, but we're not reviewing the countdown. We are reviewing AEW Dynamite.
Yep.
And you are going into one of your biggest pay-per-views ever at this point. The biggest main event in your company's history.
Yeah.
And we got a recap package, which to me was like, what the fuck? Like I said, we definitely got more on the countdown, but it wasn't on Dynamite.
Yeah. My worst of the night, I gave to Pac and Phoenix's match.
Due to the fact that it was just a squash, or
Just the fact it felt entirely pointless. Like, I get it, they need to be boosted for the Battle Royale, but I don't think they
okay,
needed that match. Why not have them beat, say, a tag team we know isn't going to win, like Peter Avalon's team?
yeah, I guess.
Like a team that'll actually put up a bit of a fight, but we know isn't going to win.
Yeah, that's fair. So our Twitter polls for AEW Dynamite, 86.7% thought it was a great show, 13.3% sitting on the fence, 0% said it was a waste of time, which I can wholeheartedly agree that it was a good show.
100%.
And moving on to the best show of the week, we will not spend much time here. We're nearing the 3-hour mark, and we still have to preview the card that is Revolution. WWE SmackDown from tonight. You know what everybody wants to hear about.
All right, so we open with Cole in the ring, and I was like, okay, how long until Reigns is in? Then we get
Michael
Bryan
Cole,
in the
not
ring.
Adam Cole. Michael Cole.
Fair
Let's
enough.
specify.
Fine. We get Daniel Bryan to come out, and I'm like, okay, so when does Roman Reigns come out? And then we get this really, really impassionate promo from Daniel Bryan, and then we get Reigns.
Yeah, he gives a whole promo about, how he's no longer giving that spot to other people. He deserves it, blah, 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 blah. And he throws it to a video package showing his chamber win, his match with Reigns, Edge spearing. He keeps going on this promo about he's wrestled more matches in 3 weeks than Reigns and Edge have in 3 months.
Yep.
And then, yeah, as you said, Reigns comes out, and we cut to commercial.
Yeah. Well, because
back,
Reigns' entrance is so long that WWE is self-aware.
Yeah. We come back, and he literally, the TV lights up, and he lifts the title to set off his pyro. And I'm like, fuck this, man. Reigns basically says Bryan isn't ambitious, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. I really hate to do this. Jey Uso, stop fucking taking the mic during these promos, because you know what? When it's you and your brother doing your Uso penitentiary stuff, you know what? 100% love it. But let me tell you, the second you grabbed the mic tonight, I sat there and went, holy fuck, this sucks.
Well, they let Jay talk, but they don't let Paul talk.
Yeah, can we talk about the fact that Paul Heyman was there during every segment, and I'm sitting there going, why the fuck aren't you letting Paul fucking Heyman do the talking?
Yeah, you literally have the best mouthpiece in the entire wrestling industry, and you're letting him just sit there.
Yeah, and
Moving on, we get
basically what happens, Jey Uso takes a cheap shot at Bryan, but
yeah,
Bryan was ready for it, flips him out, Reigns leaves, and we move on.
yeah. We get recap of Corbin and Zayn stuff last week, and then we get swear I've seen this before. We're gonna get a Street Profits tag team match versus Sami Zayn and King Corbin.
King
Oh,
Corbin.
but no, we don't.
Yeah, Zayn comes out, says a bunch of shit. Corbin comes out and he's like, I don't like you. We're not doing this. I'm a singles competitor. And so we have King Corbin versus Montez Ford. Corbin wins. That's about
Did
all I'll
you
say
hear
there.
how Cole justified this?
I
Cole
stopped
says if the
paying attention.
fair enough. Cole says if the majority of the competitors agree to the change, it happens.
Haven't we had a situation before where like there's been like 6 people in a match and like
Mhm.
5 of them have been like, yeah, that works, and the one's like, no, and then we have an authority figure come out and be like, that's not the way it works. You guys don't make the decisions on WWE content. Like, hasn't that happened? Like,
There's no more authority figures, remember?
Adam Pearce.
But just I was just about to say, but just don't remember Adam Pearce exists.
Oh, fucking Adam Pearce. But yeah, Corbin picks up the win. Zayn gets knocked off the apron into Corbin, and Corbin basically tells him to fuck himself. And then we get
And Zayn proceeds to do so.
yeah, he proceeds to fight Angelo Dawkins. Dawkins rolls him up for the win, and then this is neat. Sami Zayn goes out to his camera guys, and he's like, "Who's this guy? I didn't hire them." Beats him down, and I think that was Blake Christian again. I would assume
It was.
from Impact Wrestling, now signed to WWE. We have Reggie walking backstage with a tray with wine and a glass. Finds Carmella. Carmella calls him a snake, slaps the tray out of his hands, fires him. That bottle shattered like nothing.
It was probably one of those fancy breakaway ones.
Oh, it was, because no bottle would break like that.
No.
Trust me, as somebody who has had bottles like that I've literally thrown against the cement to try and break, and they've bounced back at me.
Run away!
Don't ask. Anyways, we have Dominic Mysterio against Chad Gable, Rey Mysterio and Otis at
I
ringside.
swear I've seen this before.
Dominic rolls up Gable for the surprise win. Rey takes out Otis, sent on over the announce table. They run out. And I'm like, okay, so this is going to be the next 6-week program. You know what this leads to? It's the Mysterios versus the Alpha Academy on the pre-show of WrestleMania. I just noticed that.
Does it have to?
Alpha Academy takes the titles off of Rude and Ziggler.
Well, I mean, yeah, what the fuck else are the titles doing? So
No. Oh my god. Fatal 4-way for the SmackDown Tag Team titles at Mania.
no, it's
Dirty
gonna be a triple
Dogs,
threat, and they're gonna try to
Street
do the same
Profits.
thing that they did with New Day and the Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy one last time. It'll be a triple threat ladder match, and then they're gonna make it a fatal 4-way at the end. And what tag team do they bring in?
The Mysterios. They're gonna write Ray and Dom off at Fastlane in a match, and they're gonna set up. It's gonna be the Dirty Dogs, the Street Profits, and Otis and Gable Alpha Academy, and they're gonna pull we've got a 4th team entering, and it's gonna be the returning Mysterios after only missing 2 weeks of competition.
Expecting to get the roof to blow off of the.
Like, no disrespect to especially Rey Mysterio, but I'd be sitting there like, it was the Hardys last time, who is it now? And then it's just like, it's the Mysterios, and I'm like, what the fuck?
My brain was like, well, what if they could get like Motor City Machine Guns? Like, what about that? Like,
yeah, okay. Beer, money.
Right. You have no idea how real I wish that could be.
The worst part is, Rude is in the fucking team with Ziggler. He turns on Ziggler, leaves Ziggler to do. No.
I was gonna say, do you forget what happened with Hardcore Holly and Cody Rhodes?
Yeah, I guess. Anyways, moving on here. We have a interview with Seth Rollins backstage. Buddy Murphy's standing there, and he's like, "I could assist you." And Rollins is like, "Get out of my sight!"
Fuck off.
Like, um, really? Are we forgetting everything that happened?
Oh, hang on. Also, you misspoke. It's just Murphy. You said Buddy Murphy.
Shayna Baszler, accompanied by Nia Jax against Bianca Belair, and obviously Sasha Banks and Reggie both have to come out.
I called all that right before the match even started. Like, I was calling that shit. Like...
Near the end of the match, Reggie gets shoved by Belair into Nia. Nia shoves him into Sasha, and then as Nia charges for Reggie, he moves and she runs into Sasha. But Belair still gets the pin because,
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
Belair rolls out and she's like, "Stay in your lane." And then Sasha slaps the taste out of Reggie's mouth. And I'm like, what is fucking happening?
Her hand was genuinely hurt. I am concerned she has broken her fucking hand.
Oh, she fucking hit him.
I am genuinely concerned she broke her hand, and now the world title match or the women's title match at Mania is in jeopardy because my brain is like, well, did she just break her hand slapping the taste out of that bitch's mouth?
It's happened.
It has.
We get Jay backstage with Roman, and he basically tells Jay, like, "I'm okay if I have to defend my title, but if you lose, you embarrass the family." Okay.
And Roman looks super confident as Jay leaves.
Yeah. And then we get Cesaro versus Murphy, and Rollins comes out to join commentary. Like, what the fuck? My favorite part about this.
I literally called the finish.
My favorite part about this, Cesaro hits the swing, locks in the sharpshooter, and Cole goes, "Murphy taps to give Cesaro the win." And Corey Graves is like, he hasn't tapped yet, and there he goes. And I'm like, Cole, you trying to go home, bud? Like,
I know I was.
I was too. And so Cesaro gets the win. That's that. Seth Rollins is clapping. We have Reggie looking like he's leaving the Thunderdome. He comes to Sasha's door, knocks. Sasha opens it, yells no, closes it, walks up to Shayna and Nia. Shayna Baszler is all up in his grill, and Nia's like, he's kind of cute, and that's it. And
oh no.
Okay, I'm going to be respectful about this to see where it's going. I do not want to come across as an asshole. We have Apollo Crews come out. He's carrying a spear. He has military-esque looking guards behind him. He cuts a promo speaking in the accent that he used last week, quoting his grandfather. And the only thing that I'm going to point out, he demands a rematch for the IC title, which he's going to get, obviously. I am not going to say any more about this segment just to not come across as awful, but I want to make a point known to absolutely everybody listening. If this doesn't, make something click in your mind, there might be something wrong with you. I don't mind saying that. You got to remember this gimmick, okay? This gimmick, you know what the gimmick is, I'm not going to say it, was very obviously, if not suggested by, okay? It was very obviously approved by a 78, 79-year-old white male and was encouraged. There is nothing okay about this. From my standpoint, if Apollo is fine with it, okay. But why are we going this route? I was saying I liked some of the stuff from the 90s. But this does not have to happen. Moving on. Tamina and Natalya.
Now we get the Tamina and Natalya stuff.
So remember how we were complaining about Edge bitching last week about stuff? Well, this week we got Tamina and Natalya being like, "Why don't we get?" But
at least that's consistent with character.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't want to be rude, but at least that is consistent with character.
Yeah, you're right, but at the same time, so we're getting a fatal 4-way at Mania. Anyways, We get Jey Uso backstage getting interviewed. Bryan fucking runs around, attacks him, and the match is up next. But up next, we get your absolute favorite segment from SmackDown. Ding dong, hello. It's backstage though. She's doing a ripoff of mean tweets. There's an actual mean tweet in there. She gets mad. That's that. Um, and the amount of time it took me to explain that segment is how long they spent writing that segment. Sorry, Bruce. I'm fucking photoshopping a picture of a monkey and putting fucking Brother Love's face on it.
Oh my god.
Sorry, Bruce. Anyways, holy fuck. Corey Graves is in the cage talking about the cage match. It actually made it feel like a bit more of a big match, and I was wrong about the finish.
Nice.
It looked like the one wall was set to pop, but they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So we get Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso in the steel cage. If Bryan wins, he challenges Reigns for the title. I didn't think he was going to because they had even had the graphic already and whatnot. So I'm like, we know what we're getting.
Yeah. No, exactly. It was very evident. But
match is good. Match is good. And Jay taps to the yes lock, and that's it. Oh, Roman and Paul came out, and we're sitting there, and yeah. So
let's just move on to the ratings.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, it sounded like you had something else to say.
No.
Okay, what did you rate SmackDown?
2.5. Generous.
That's
higher. It was better than the last few weeks.
Last week you gave it a 0.25.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have last week's rating wrong because it says 2 weeks ago it says 2.25, and I don't think you gave it a 2.25 2 weeks ago because I gave it a 1.75. Oh, you might have.
Maybe.
But anyways, you were generous. Holy fuck.
I was generous mainly because I was pleasantly surprised with the fact that we're getting Reigns. Well, you know what? I guess I should hold my breath. We're supposed to be getting Reigns and Bryan at Fastlane. Who knows if we're gonna get that?
We totally won't. And if we do, it's getting fucked over. I gave it a 1.5. Fuck that, man. No.
Yeah. The match
better
of the
than
night,
the last
definitely
few
the
weeks.
cage match.
Yeah, without a doubt. Segment.
Bryan's opening promo, but not anything after Bryan's opening promo. Like as soon as you hear "da-da," you can stop watching it.
Agreed. Very much so agreed. Like that is mine as well. Performer of the night.
Daniel Bryan.
Same. Worst of the night.
Women's tag match.
Okay. I have another one here. Once again.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Where the fuck is Edge through all of this? No.
Did we need Edge?
Okay. Here's where I'm annoyed though. You do not go out there. I know it has to do with writing the show and that, but you do not go out there, come back, and this is coming from a, biggest fan scenario here. You don't come out and be like, if I'm in the world title picture, I'm there every week, and then not be there, especially when your world title your world title opponent is possibly setting up for a match against a different contender, and you have no clue who you're facing in a few weeks. You do not just not show up.
Yeah,
I also would not on the card.
I'd like to point out, I said women's tag match. I meant the women's tag title picture of what that
on
match
SmackDown
was.
Sucks. Yep.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Why? No, I'm not even gonna get into it. I don't care.
And then just a quick refresh here. Votes on our SmackDown. We are right down the center here. 33.3% on all three. Very inconclusive vote at this very moment.
Can we talk about Revolution now?
Yes, we are going to move on to our Revolution.
A show that I actually want to talk about.
Our Revolution preview. Are you up on the wiki by chance?
I went off of the wiki and just kind of wrote in my own
Okay, so you have it like last time in the general same order.
Mhm.
We'll
Yeah.
pick and choose in a general like we'll get everything that's not the title matches out of the way and then work our way
Hmm.
through. First up, the buy-in match at least. Riho and Thunder Rosa against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Rebel. If Rebel is not able to compete, Britt Baker can pick a replacement. I think we're getting a women's surprise even in the pre-show.
Hmm.
Something like potentially bringing Allison Kay in again, which I'd be totally okay with. Something like that. But
Yeah.
as for winning, probably Riho and Thunder Rosa, no matter the case.
Honestly, with the way they've been pushing Brit, I could see her and maybe bringing in somebody who's a muscle compared to Reba.
Yeah,
Rebel, but Reba,
whatever.
whatever. Rebel, not Reba. Yeah, but I'd say Brit and whoever she's teaming with wins.
Okay. The Casino Tag Team Royale for the future AEW World Tag Team Champions. Uh, Now I'm gonna run through what is listed here.
Sure.
Just as quick as possible. We got Bear Country, Dark Order, Reynolds and Silver, Dark Order, Uno and Grayson, Inner Circle, Santana Ortiz, Butcher and Blade, Private Party, Top Flight, Death Triangle being Pac and Phoenix, Varsity Blondes, Seidel Brothers, SoCal Uncensored being Frankie Kazarian and Chris Daniels, Natural Nightmares, Chaos Project, Gun Club, Austin Gun, Colton Gun, Dark Orders 5 and 10, The Pretty Picture, which is Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi, and Jurassic Express being Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. That is what I have down right now. That is a shit ton of teams. Who are you giving it to?
Santana and Ortiz.
Okay. Good Brothers.
Did you say them in the?
Nope.
Okay.
Good Brothers win it.
Okay. Fair.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
they
fair.
they win it. Think they're setting up to face the Bucks. We don't get
Okay.
that. We're gonna have some kind of fuckery when it comes to MJF and them.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
yep.
No, I want to see Santana and Ortiz versus Jericho and MJF.
So I would too, but my only thing is I think they're gonna swerve us right off the bat and give us a whole long con.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, everybody figures we're getting, well, not everybody, I guess, but I mean,
A few people.
theoretically speaking, we figure we're getting Jericho and MJF winning, but we'll come around to that anyways. But
Mm-hmm.
um, Miro and Kip Sabian, against Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor.
Chuck and Orange win.
The worst part is Chuck and Orange win, and like it's validation for them after all the bullshit, but it kills Miro and Kip. Miro and Kip win, but it doesn't do anything for them.
I think that actually what we do here is Chuck and Orange win, pinning Kip, and Miro gets so pissed off that he turns face on Kip, and we start a whole new run with Miro, a
Or
complete
or
rework of his
turns
character, pretty much.
turns instead of turning face, it can be a bigger heel turn for Miro and possibly on the way to
Yeah.
turn Kip face.
Okay, so do the alternate and have
Yeah.
Kip become a baby face in a gruesome beatdown, maybe getting him sent through multiple tables or something.
Yeah, something crazy like that. Yep. Yeah.
And then sets up for at Double or Nothing tables match, Miro versus Kip.
Sure, something big like that. Yeah. Face of the Revolution ladder match for a future AEW TNT Championship match. We got Cody Rhodes, Scorpio Sky, Penta El Zero Miedo, Jake Robert, or Lance Archer with Jake Roberts. Sorry, I read ahead. Max Caster and to be announced participant.
Okay,
Okay. First off,
so
who's your to be announced? What is your guess?
okay, so my to be announced, because I didn't realize, like I didn't see that they were going guaranteed to be different. It's also my big
Okay.
announcement prediction. Um, I've guessed Kazuchika Okada.
Okay.
I have no idea what his contract situation is like, but I don't know who else to guess.
CM Punk.
Genuinely.
Why the fuck not? I don't know who else is out there that's
But he's
got
already
enough of a
confirmed, like, he's
name.
genuinely not. I don't see him ever getting in a ring again, ever.
Oh, I guarantee you he does. I guarantee it.
I don't know. I don't see it happening.
Tony Khan has the pockets. He'll make it happen. At least once. Guaranteed.
Maybe when he's like 50, 60.
No, I could see it within the next 2 years. I could. I'll be bold. As
Good
I
guess.
honestly, I don't have a name for it.
I really don't. This is the one time where I'm like, I really couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I, uh,
Street fight?
hold on.
Okay.
Uh, I'm seeing if there's anything out there, like who anybody thinks it could be.
Well, I've been seeing people say like Christian and whatever, but he's under contract for X amount of time, and like it seems like everybody's guessing somebody, but their guesses are all under contract.
Yeah. So, okay. So there's a few different outcomes here, and I'll give my two potential outcomes, unless the to be announced is a huge deal that they want to skyrocket, say it's another big signing or something. It's either going, in my opinion, this match to Scorpio Sky or Penta. Now here's the caveat: if we run the battle royale before and Death Triangle does not win the battle royale, Penta doesn't win the ladder match. If Death Triangle somehow pulls off the win in that battle royale, being Pac and Phoenix, Penta wins, and we set them up with those titles at some point down the line.
Sure.
Because the thing is, if Max and Jericho take the titles, give them to those guys, I wouldn't have an issue with Pac and Phoenix going over Jericho and MJF. I really don't. And then putting Penta over Darby or potentially Sting, depending on which way we go there. Like, it can all work out. It can all work out really nicely. But if the tag team battle royale doesn't go as planned, Scorpio's taking it. I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Very much so.
Maybe you have a different opinion. I'm just saying, for me, that's how I feel. Cody's not taking it, and neither is Max Caster, and Lance Archer
Doesn't need a title.
he really doesn't, and him winning a ladder match is going to kind of feel like Brian Cage winning the ladder match, which I think they probably saw the first time and went, it was cool, but maybe it wasn't the way to do it.
No, yeah. Okay. What else? What do you want to work next?
Big money match. Winner receives the losers 2021 first quarter earnings. Hangman Adam Page versus Big Money Matt Hardy. Page wins and joins Dark Order.
Page wins and joins Dark Order.
Yep.
I'm thinking Matt Hardy wins, and it's further throwing Adam Page down the descent, down the rabbit hole, into the loving arms of the Dark Order. Because Dark Order, you don't join the Dark Order because you're a winner. No. You join the Dark Order because you're a loser.
And so he loses, and Hangman realizes that his wins have been because of the Dark Order, and turns around and it's like, you guys are my family, I do better with you.
Yeah, he's like, well, I'm not saying it happens that show. I'm just saying it further pushes him into the arms of Dark Order. This is
Okay.
one more push.
Sure. Why not? Um, Street Fight, Team Taz, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, against Darby Allin and Sting.
I don't see this match going any other way than what any other person is probably going to say, and it's going to be Sting and Allin winning.
If Darby didn't have the title, could go either way. Darby has the title, Darby Sting win.
Yeah.
It's going to be great, though. It's going to be fun.
Oh, it's going to be a fantastic match.
Hikaru Shida versus Ryo Mizunami for the AEW Women's World Championship.
I'm thinking Shida's going to win, but Ryo in no way is going to like have a bad showing, and this is going to further set up for like probably some of the best Joshi wrestling inside of North America.
Yeah. See, my only issue, and this is no disrespect to Shida, because Shida is fantastic. I'm a big fan of Shida. She beats Ryo Mizunami, and she's beaten like everybody. They had this tournament to the best between two countries is going up against her, and she's fucking beat everybody if she beats Ryo. Like not to be an ass, but
yeah, but the thing is maybe they have a big signing in the women's division that's going to come after Revolution.
Maki Ito, and I'm okay with it. Want to talk about Joshi wrestling? Maki Ito takes title off of Hikaru Shida. Anybody who wants to fight me on that, try. I have legions of people behind me on Twitter that all I have to do is talk about Maki Ito, and they will be on my side. Fight me.
All right.
The AEW World Tag Team Championship match. We have the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, against the Inner Circles, Chris Jericho and MJF. Inner Circle.
Yeah, Jericho and MJF win, but in no way is it clean.
No fucking way.
There's no way that the match ends clean, and that's pretty much the only prediction I really have on it.
Sammy Guevara.
I don't think he rejoins Inner Circle. I think that's a complete and utter waste of storytelling.
No, he screws them over.
But what's the purpose of giving the Inner Circle the titles?
He goes to screw them over, and it backfires.
And ends up screwing over the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Double swerve it or some shit.
Yeah.
I still think it ends somehow with Sammy Guevara. In some way, shape, or form.
I don't think so. I think we don't see Guevara for like another month.
And then on to the match the world is going to be talking about, for better or for worse. We have
somebody might die.
The exploding barbed wire death match for the All Elite Wrestling World Championship. We have the champion, the cleaner, Kenny Omega, alongside with the Invisible Hand, Don Callis, against Jon Moxley. Gotta hype that one up. It's the world title. It's a big show. Looking at the shows we've covered, Rumble was big. But, this is a big show. This is, no pun intended to Paul White. But who do you give this to?
Kenny Omega wins. Match of the year contender, if not the winner. And Jon Moxley's also written off in some way to allow him time off to go and have his child.
My prediction to a T. Including the match of the year contender, if not winner, comment. That is.
Yeah. That's how confident I am in this match. That it's, as much as I think I can have that match predicted to a T, I still don't know what the fuck's going to happen in it.
The from bell to bell, I say it when I mean it, I am legitimately terrified.
Oh, I am scared.
Because I'm like, I don't want either of these guys, like, what these death matches do to guys. I'm like, I would hate to see either of these guys put through this. Like, the Lights Out Unsanctioned from Full Gear 2019. One of my all-time favorite matches. Fantastic. And it's still hard for me, like every time I watch it, there's something new I see, and it always makes me cringe that much more. That was like watching it live, like when Kenny swept Mox. You notice the blood, but when you watch it back, because you watch other parts of it, you actually when he sweeps him, you watch the barbs rip Mox's flesh, which you know it happened, but when you watch it, you're like, son of a
When you look
bitch.
for it, yeah.
And this is going to be that match where I watch it the first time, I'm turning away like son of a bitch, and I watch it another 15 times and analyze every goddamn explosion, every goddamn cut on barbed wire. We know we're getting the Moxley extermination chamber. Fuck knows what that
Whatever the
is.
fuck that is.
So,
Yeah.
it's going to be not for the weak at heart, I think they say, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, careful what you wish for with this match. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but that's all the shows. That's all our coverage.
We
That was a long fucking
finally,
show.
wow.
Holy
Yeah.
shit! 2 a.m.
We
Um,
apologize for anybody who's been listening this whole way through. We know it's a long show. We hope it was worth it for the listen. We appreciate
yes,
you guys listening in to us.
yes, we do. We very much so do. We will be back Monday, I believe so. Monday to cover Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Yeah. Make
should be
sure
a
to
fucking
follow us
great show.
on.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry. No, you're good.
I'm hyped up about this show,
Yeah.
man.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter and help us figure out our news segments. Tweet us whenever you see news in the wrestling world. It helps us and it'll help you guys too in the future.
Yes, yes, it will. And as always, if you want to find anything walking the ropes, you can do so through our link tree. That is links to our social medias, Twitch where you can watch us live, YouTube where you can watch our VODs, every single podcasting platform that we are available on, possibly more that aren't listed. And as well ways to support us, such as our Redbubble store, as well as a tipping page if you are feeling generous. But yeah, with all that being said, Revolution Sunday. If you're watching, I hope you enjoy. If not, you know what? Tell us on
Yeah.
Twitter. Like, what are you watching instead of Revolution? Like.
I know NASCAR is on, so if you're watching that,
Here's to you.
okay.
Um, but yeah, so with that being said, we will see everybody on Monday to review Revolution. Hopefully we still have breath left from that main event to do so.
Hopefully.
So until
We will
then,
see you then.
yeah, thank you for listening in, and we will see you then.